Good evening everyone, hello and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. We are back once again for our live watch along tonight for the UK Open, the Ladbrokes UK Open. It's final day, well, semi-finals first, of course, still got a few games still to go in this competition, but we're nearly there. We are nearly at the final section of this tournament. We've got one more day left, 4 more players left in this competition, and most importantly, we have a final on our hands in a couple of hours' time. I hope you're all good. If you are new to the stream, as always, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you haven't already. I can see Callum's in the building. How you doing? But he says hi. Welcome to the stream, as always, lad. But we've got so much to get through today. 2 semi-finals first, as well as the final, coming up a little bit later on tonight. The question is, who are you predicting is going to make the final tonight? There's quite clearly 2 favourites in the running to get there. Is it going to turn out to actually be what we expect it to be and be a Price van Gerwen final? I'm here, I'm alive, I'm still breathing, still kicking, and we've got some brilliant action to come tonight. First game, you might have not seen, of course, we had the quarterfinals this afternoon. We didn't stream that live, purely because I said there's so much going on the channel right now. We had an incredible Manchester derby going on, which we were streaming instead. But if you didn't see, we did unfortunately see a few more players knocked out of the competition. Dave Chisnell being one of them. He was knocked out by Luke Humphries, who we're going to see a little bit later on tonight against Michael van Gerwen. Looking forward to that game because Luke Humphries has been quite good in this competition so far. Been very convincing actually at times against the opponents he's been playing against. I mean, Chizzy played great today against and got through in the end. But that one for me is going to be one of those games to look out for because Van Gerwen, he struggled against Ratajski in the early stages of the match and then he finally was able to get himself into a position where we could go on and comfortably win the game. And it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to see something similar tonight against Humphries. If he's able to break Humphries early on and get a foothold in the match. I personally think he will. I think Humphries, great player so far in this competition. But I think he's just going to be a little bit too much against Van Gerwen. And then, of course, our final, first game actually of the night, which is coming up in just a moment, is going to see James Wade taking on Gerwyn Price. Looking forward to this one, if I'm being honest with you. James Wade looked really comfortable in this competition so far. Currently, I think he's averaging around about 100 in the tournament, which is a fantastic average. And I would probably say he's no doubt the highest consistent average of this tournament so far. Might have changed over the quarterfinals, but I probably think it's still James Wade with the highest average throughout the tournament. And then Gerwyn Price, who we saw earlier on today, played Devin Peterson. Played really well actually in that match. Devin Peterson, though, looking fairly comfortable at certain points in the match, specifically early on. But eventually, as you would expect, the world number 1 was able to get a foothold in that match and go through to the quarter-final. In fact, it's the semi-finals, not the quarters. I've made a mistake. Give me 2 seconds. I've literally just noticed. It's the semi-finals. Give me 2 seconds. There's always a mistake on here, isn't there? Bloody hell. Let me sort that out. It's the semi-finals. And I will quickly go and sort that out. But yeah, we're just underway now with the first game of the night. Don't forget, as always, if you are new, please don't forget to leave a like and subscription. Hope you guys enjoyed the fantastic Manchester derby that we had, of course, as you've said in the chat, Callum. Man United winning that game 2-0 today, as we might have our first 180 of the night, which Gerwyn Price isn't going to get in the end. But I'm probably not going to do as much. Well, I'll say I'll probably not do as much commentating stuff tonight, but I probably will. But how are we all doing? It's been a busy weekend, hasn't it? Lots of action with the UK Open. We started off with the first round on Friday afternoon. Brilliant start to the tournament. We had a 9-darter early on. But obviously over time, we've got the big guns left in this competition. And as I asked you guys, do put in the comments below, who do you think is going to be in the final in a couple of hours' time? Because I am going for a Price van Gerwen final. The neutrals want to see that. But at the same time, I've also seen a lot of people kind of thinking it's going to be a Wade van Gerwen final. Exactly what you said, Callum. By the way, I liked and subscribed. You're absolute legend, Callum. God bless your soul, buddy. But I think a lot of people are expecting a Wade van Gerwen final, which I completely understand. I think Wade has been exceptional in this tournament so far. Probably out of the 4 left in this competition, is the more consistent player throughout the UK Open at the very least. Let's not say over the entirety of the last year or so. Just in this tournament, it's been for me Wade who's been the more consistent player. But Wade down to 70 here. Going price at 138. Don't worry, by the way, for the regular viewers wondering, are you drinking tonight? Brand new bottle of Gordon's Gin. Bought today. Beautiful. And then we've even got some little taster bottles of pink cherry gin. As we have the first leg on the board. And it's gone to the way of James Wade, who checks out in the end. I think it was 76. As Price responds with a 177 for a potential maybe chance at a 9 darter, which would be nice to see. As Wade nearly goes one better, but smacks in a 140. I mean, Callum's put in the chat, Wade v Humphries. I wouldn't even be against that as the final. I think it would, kind of like the Ladbrokes Masters, be an interesting game because it would be 2 players that I don't think many people would have expected to make the final. As James Wade looks to smack in a 180 and does. I am going to say as well, very quickly, the scoreboard on the bottom right will be ahead of what I can see on my screen. So if I'm a little bit behind, then I do apologise. I am watching on ITV4, which if you're in the UK, that's where it's been covered tonight. So I would, of course, just put that on the side. You get to see the reactions of me alongside the actual game itself. If you're not living in the UK, then I think it's on pdc.tv as well. So there are 2 places you can watch it tonight. But I would recommend ITV as the place to watch because it's free, of course, if you're in the UK, if you've got a TV licence. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people watching it tonight without a licence. As Wade has a chance here to go 2-0 up. Treble 19, 2 darts at double 12, which eats the 12. So he's got 1 at 6 for a 2-0 lead, and he gets it. And we are off on a very good start. And I'm actually going to start without alcohol tonight. My camera's gone blurry. He's going to sort himself out. There we go. It's back in the end. I'm going to start off with no alcohol. I'm going to start off with some orange juice. Start lightly. We'll wait until later on. Let's not get too battered on the stream. If you've never been here before, we always drink with the darts, especially on finals day. It usually ends up with me being incredibly tipsy by the end of the night, or drunk, and it's always good fun. I don't think there's many other streamers out there that probably do this in the darts world where they get absolutely drunk on stream, but we're starting light today with a bit of orange. But 2-0 to Wade. Callum says he's turned the notifications on. You absolute legend, by the way. You absolute legend. Thank you so much for putting notifications on. And to answer your question, is it just board 1 they're playing on? Yes, just board 1 tonight. So if you haven't been watching the tournament throughout the weekend, or you're new to darts, the difference with the UK Open is that they tend to be played on different stages tonight and over the weekend. Now, when we hit the semi-final stage and the quarterfinals, we don't use 2 stages, it's just the 1. So we have 1 stage now for the rest of the tournament. So luckily, we do get to watch these games and just sit back and enjoy them, which is good. Because yesterday, and even over the weekend, it must have been quite a nightmare for anybody who's streaming these games to have to cover 5 or 6 different games going on at once on the different stages, especially at the beginning of this tournament. But I can always already say we will be covering the Premier League of Darts, fingers crossed, touch wood, in April time. So hopefully we'll only have a few more weeks to wait. But James Wade takes a 3-0 leg lead over Gerwin Price. Checking out 81 there. And he's 3-0 up on Pricey, who's not really had much of a start to this game. As you would expect, James Wade, so consistent on his checkouts, that Gerwin Price has not really had much to do in this game so far. And that's just credit to how well James Wade has played. He's been brilliant so far in this tournament. You've got to give him credit. And I think, as you said, Callum, I completely agree with you. Probably the best player of this tournament in terms of form. He's been brilliant so far. But how are we doing, Reese? Hope you're all good, buddy. Welcome along. And thanks to all 48 of you in the building tonight. Thank you so much for all of you that have joined. Good to see you all. Hopefully you stick around tonight, as I said. The darts referee might be on. Edgar TV might be on. And they'll know a lot more about darts than I do. But I'm glad you've chose to stick around here tonight because we've got some brilliant games. But James Wade here, looking to get a 180, which he doesn't. But a 140 will do to put himself down to 138. And it's genuinely looking like James Wade's about to take a 4-0 lead over Gerwen Price. Now, remember, there is 2 more extra legs now in this game. It's best of 11, first to 21. So there is an extra leg to play in this competition now, in the semi-finals and the finals. But, with the way it's going right now, James Wade looking like he's about to go 4-0 up. He's down to 38, Price back at 243. And you would expect here, on double 19, James Wade to go 4-0 up. Which he does. And it's 4-0 to James Wade. Who'd have thought that at the start of this match? Gerwen Price, I don't think, has had a single opportunity to be able to check out in this match yet. Maybe one. But unbelievable so far from James Wade. In fact, he's currently averaging 104.77. Gerwen Price averaging 90.05. And as I thought, there hasn't been a single chance yet, I think, for Gerwen Price to be able to check out, which is absolutely bonkers. And the world number 1 in darts is being destroyed by the world number 5, who, of course, if he wins this tournament, will actually become the world number 4. But I saw Chris is in the building as well. How you doing, Chris? Hope you're all good. Callum saying I love darts referee. He's a brilliant YouTuber. I don't think... Is he streaming this weekend? I don't know if he is or not. Usually it's Edgar TV, I think Clash of the Tungsten, if you've heard of those guys. I think they stream as well. So there is a few people tonight on. I have my own channel. Do you cover darts, Callum? You'll have to tell me. I will have a look at your channel once tonight's action's done. Sergio, the reason why I can't show the match tonight is because of copyright reasons. Sadly, I don't own the rights to show the darts. So if I do show it, it means that this channel will get a copyright strike. So sadly, I can't show it. But if you are wanting to watch it, Sergio, if you live in the UK, it's on ITV4. If you don't live in the UK, it's on pdc.tv. So I would recommend checking those 2 places out if you want to actually watch the games tonight. But if not, sit back in here and enjoy the reaction, because it should be good. This Price desperately needs to get a leg on the board here going into the break, because if he goes 5-0 down into the break, then it's going to be quite tough for him to get back into this match, because he's always going to be chasing James Wade no matter what. You know, he could get 1 or 2 legs on the board, but if James gets 1 after the break, let's say, and maybe it's 4 or 5-2, he's always going to be chasing in the match. But Price with a chance to check out on 1-2-4. He doesn't in the end, which means James Wade, 3 darts at double 17 to go 5-0 up in this game. And he does. It's a 5-0 lead at the interval for James Wade, which is unbelievable. Flash score has crashed. It can't believe what's going on right now. But it's 5-0 to James Wade in this semi-final. And Gerwen Price is staying up on stage to practice because the world number 5 is currently giving the world number 1 an absolute battering in this match tonight. And you've got to give him credit so far, James Wade, because he's coming to this game. He showed no fear. And most importantly, he's been ever so consistent when it comes to his checkouts. And as for Gerwen Price, I don't think he's had a single opportunity, or one at the very least, to be able to hit the doubles tonight. But how are we doing, Daz? Hope you're all good, buddy. Welcome along to the stream. As always, you're absolute legend. But let's talk through the stats of that match. I will just refresh Flash score a second, just because it's not working. So let's see if it comes back up on your guys' screen in a moment's time. But 5-0 right now to James Wade in this game. Don't think many people really expected that to happen as such, but he is in a brilliant, brilliant position right now. And as you can see on your screen, James Wade currently averaging 101.55, which is an incredibly good score from the machine. That is James Wade. As for Gerwen Price, only averaging 90.68 right now, which is not really the most convincing score in the world. In fact, for the first time, you can actually look with me at the stats of the game. Highest checkout-wise, what I will do, give me 2 seconds here so you guys can actually see it a little bit more, is I will just quickly... There we go. You can see the stats a bit better. and kind of see with me. So you can see there, in terms of the highest checkout, only 82 for James Wade so far, but at the end of the day, he's been so consistent at his checkouts that he's not really been in a position as such to hit the high numbers, because he's already hitting 180s and 140s really, really quickly, getting him down to those lower scores anyway. But checkouts percentage-wise, 5 out of 7, that's 71.43% on his doubles right now, which is a brilliant, brilliant checkout score, which is something he's been doing pretty much for the majority of this tournament so far. As for Gerwin Price, he's had one opportunity at the doubles, just one, and he didn't take it, which therefore means he's still at 0%. As for the 100 pluses thrown, 12 for James Wade and 8 for Gerwin Price. 140 pluses, only 2 for Gerwin Price so far, and 4 for James Wade. And then the all important stat at points is the 180s, which is 1 for James Wade and 0 for Gerwin Price, which means that James Wade takes a 5-0 leg lead, and he is minimum 6 legs away from going through to the finals in what would surely be one of the quickest semi-final games of... well, I'm saying that, but of course we could still see Gerwin Price get a few legs on the board. But it could be a fairly quick semi-final match. I mean, we had the game at the World Championship where Van Gerwen was beaten 5 sets to, and that was quite a quick match. But with this only being first 2 11 legs, who knows? Could be a situation where Gerwin Price finds himself maybe losing by 11-2, 11-3, which I don't think people would have realistically expected in this game, even though Wade, I think for a lot of people, has kind of come into this as a favourite, just based on his current form. But Callum says he's got to go. Thank you very much, Callum, for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll get to see you again later on. But thank you as always, buddy, for joining. And then Daz put, do you think Luke could beat MVG? I think he can. It's going to be tough. I think MVG, going into that game against Ratajski early on, when he went 2 or 3 legs down to Ratajski, it was looking like the Polish Eagle was going to go and win it. But in the end, I think you have to give a lot of credit to MVG for coming back in that match, because I think, as I said, there was a lot of us thinking he was going to be pretty much down and out of that match. But he did really, really well to get back into the game. And I think Luke is going to have a tough test tonight. He was saying in his post-match interview, he actually asked MVG for a few tricks and tips on how to perform on the big stage, because, as we know, it's Humphries' first semi-final that he's been in on a televised event, so it's a massive, massive occasion for him. But who knows? I'm going to stick with that MVG, and I think MVG will win the match. But I don't think it's going to be easy for him. Like every game has been for MVG, it's been tough so far for him. He's had a tough run. A lot of opponents really turning up in these games and doing really, really well against MVG, as you would expect, of course. He's the world number 2. People are still going to turn up at the very peak of the powers, and I think Humphries tonight, he's going to have to turn up like the other players did and give MVG a really, really good test. But we're back underway now. As I've said, as always, the bottom right-hand screen, you guys will see the score. I'm going to be a little bit behind because I'm on ITV Hub, which is about, I think, 30 or 40 seconds behind. So I do apologise about that. But don't forget, if you're on here, please don't forget to leave a like and subscription. There's nearly 100 of you in the building tonight. So thank you ever so much to all of you for joining. Because, as I said, there's so many people out there who'll be streaming tonight. It's greatly, greatly appreciated indeed. But once again, as I said, who do you think is going to make the final? 5-0 to Wade. I think the important thing for him here is to not get complacent. A 5-0 lead going into the break. Be going into that break with full of confidence, full of belief, thinking, do you know what? I can beat the world number 1 here by a convincing margin. But the important thing here is to make sure, probably for me, in the next 2 legs, minimum, James Wade gets one on the board. Because if it gets to 5-2 or 5-3, we've seen it in the past. Gerwin Price has found himself in really tough positions where you think to yourself, he just can't get back into this type of match. And he has. And I think for me, that is just another one of those situations tonight where Price even could yet again do it. Which is why for me, James Wade has to, in my opinion, get at least one of the next 2 legs on the board. But Price down to 8 here. 3 darts are double 4. First dart's a very good marker. And the second dart, he uses that first dart, brilliant marker, guides it into the middle of the double four bed. And that is the first leg on the board for Gerwen Price, who knows he's going to be in quite a tough battle tonight, because James Wade smacks in his second maximum of the match and finds himself in a position maybe for a 9-darter, as Price responds with a 140. How about a 9-darter tonight? That'd be brilliant. Still waiting for one, because we've been streaming the darts now since the World Championship, and I've not seen one live. The last person to hit a 9-darter from the top 32 players, James Wade, of course, got it against Stephen Bunting at the World Championship for probably one of the dullest 9-darters you'll ever see. Very understandable considering he was really poor in that match, James Wade, but he's not been poor tonight. As Gerwen Price has hit another 180. Price at 181, James Wade at 184 here. And for me, this is paramount that James Wade gets this next leg on the board. Daz thinks it's going to be a Wade v MVG final, which the way it's looking right now, of course, is that Wade will get into that final. And it could be a pretty quick game tonight, this, depending on what happens. Who do you think will win it outright, Josh? I think I'd love to see James Wade win it. I'd love to see Wade win it, but something's, and I don't know what, I was feeling this morning, something's telling me MVG is going to win this tournament. And he's going to win it by not a case of unconvincing performances, as there's a chance for double 19, which James Wade gets, and puts himself 6-1 up over the world number 1. Lovely, lovely check out there in the end. Thought for a second there he wasn't going to check out the 44 after hitting the double 1, but he does, getting it with the double 19. But I've got a feeling MVG is going to win this tournament. He's found himself in really tricky situations throughout it. And I've said in the past, when we watched Gerwen Price win the World Championship, he never won it convincingly until we got to the final. That's the game for me where Gerwen Price properly turned up and really, really gave it a good game. I mean, the Stephen Bunting match turned up in that game, but it was a close fought match. But for me, in terms of a convincing result, the final was his best game. I think MVG is going to do that tonight. And it'll be one of those where I think a lot of people will probably say afterwards, you know, if Wade was to lose, that, you know, Wade deserved it because he was the better player throughout the entire tournament. But we've seen teams in the past, and it's not even in darts, but in football, you don't have to win gracefully to win stuff. You don't have to flourish in a tournament to win it. I always look back to the Portugal team at the Euros a few years ago, where they didn't win a game in normal time, I think, up until the final, when they won, I think, in extra time. You don't have to win in really convincing form to go out there and eventually lift the title, which I think is what MVG will do. But there's a chance here for James Wade to put himself 7-1 up. Price is back at 177, Wade at 142. He gets 102 to leave tops, which will put him in a very good position here to maybe take a 7-1 lead and put himself 4 legs away from the final. This only kicked off about 15 minutes ago. Honestly, really quick game this, as James Wade has 1 dart at double 10 and doesn't get it, so he will be coming back at 20 for a 7-1 lead. But the Buchanan report, how you doing, buddy? How are you all good? He says the US thanks you for your broadcast. You're very welcome, you absolute legend. Thank you so much for joining us in tonight. Greatly, greatly appreciated. I know there's a lot of you out there who might not be able to access the games, so of course, thank you very much for joining us in here. And as I said, if you are new, don't forget to leave a subscription. As James Wade hits the double 10 for a 7-1 lead. Who'd have thought that? Don't think many of us expected that tonight. If you've put down on the bookies Wade winning 10 or 11-1, I think you might be about to potentially be on course for that, which is very surprising indeed. But Chloe, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. She says, hello again. It's been a while. It has indeed. How good to see you, Chloe. Price losing. I didn't expect that. Same here. I mean, it's not 7-1. Not 7-1. And it's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. I think for me, James Wade is looking here and thinking to himself, if I can get 3 legs on the board and get myself 1 leg away, with the way Going Price is playing right now, I cannot see him coming back in this match. I mean, we've seen stranger things. He could do it. But not for me. Not tonight. For me, this is one of those games where I think Price might get a few more legs on the board. He might make it 11-3, 11-4 in the end, but I can't see Wade bottling this now. Maybe in about half an hour's time I could be sat here and saying he's bottled it, and that we've had one of the most unbelievable semi-finals at the UK Open, but I don't think that's going to happen tonight. The Buchanan Report has asked, do you broadcast all the events? The televised events I do. I haven't necessarily done the floor events. It might be something I do in the future, but the only reason why I don't tend to do the floor events is because it tends to usually be on when I'm studying at uni, which makes it a little bit more awkward to cover those events as such. But it's something I'm looking into in the future to maybe cover those events and give them a go, because I know you guys have enjoyed the darts massively on this channel, and it would be something I would love to do in the future a little bit more, because you guys have been bringing some incredible support, so thank you so much. And as I said, I will be covering the Premier League of Darts in April. We're just trying to sort that out because the Champions League is on as well, which we usually cover that. So we're trying to decide what's going to be the best way to cover stuff. But Going Price down to 50. James Wade at 24. 18 double 16 needed here. Price will opt for 10 and tops, which he gets. And he gets himself a leg on the board. And it's not the raw that you'd expect from Going Price, but a little fist pump because he knows he's got himself a leg on the board, and it gives himself just that little bit of confidence he might need here. He's still going to have to win at least another 5 legs minimum on the bounce without Wade replying to equal this game up. 6 legs in a row to actually take the lead. But you never know. You never know. He's an interesting player, Gerwen. We've seen him in positions not like this, but where he's been scrapping in games and he's slowly clawed his way back into the match. But Chloe's put in the chat, honestly, I've seen Liverpool lose again against Fulham. Manchester United beat Manchester City, and now this. It's a crazy day, isn't it, in the world of sport? Bonkers, isn't it? Some mad stuff happening today. As I said, that Liverpool game against Fulham, Liverpool looking shocking. United playing good against City, which is crazy. And now, James Wade, 7-2 up on Going Price. But let's not count him out of the game yet. If he can get himself another leg on the board here, Price will start to feel like he can edge his way back in. And he needs to hope that Wade continues to kind of switch off for the moment. Although 137 will do for Wade, it puts himself down to 222. But with Price at 170, he's going to have at least 6 darts here to check the 170 out. And he'll get 134 to leave 36 with Wade at 222. So you'd assume here, Going Price is about to make this 7-3. Although Wade will ramp the pressure up with a maximum to leave 42. But double 18 is exactly what Price gets, and that's the roll we've been waiting for. It's only taken him 11 legs. And he goes into the interval with 2 legs on the board within those 5 legs we've just witnessed. And that will give him the big confidence boost that he needs. James Wade, who took the first 5 legs of this match, looked in cruise control. But now, Going Price is looking in a very good position here to maybe start getting a few more legs back on the board. It's 7-3 in this one. And I don't think this one's going to be done and dusted yet. Apparently the Buchanan Report says your website is not working. Is that in the link? Let me try and click on it and see what's going on there. But I know Daz asked, when is the Premier League taking place? The Premier League is taking place, I think it's on April the 5th to April the 9th. That's going to be every single night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday night for that week is the first set of action. From the Premier League of Darts, and then it comes back, I think it's on the 26th or the 19th for another week of action. So there's a lot of darts going on in April time. But let's have a look at the stats as it currently stands of this game at 7-3 between James Wade and Going Price. And so far, it's looking like a fairly interesting game. I think James Wade will still go on and win it. But those 3 legs that Going Price has got himself on the board is a massive, massive confidence booster as the rest of the game will continue on. He's got to hope here that James Wade does switch off, especially in these next 5 legs, because Wade is currently averaging 95.92, so it has slightly decreased, as you can see on your screen, from what we had in the first 5 legs where he was averaging around about the 100 mark. Going Price averaging 95.5, which right now could still be good enough in this game to go on and get him a few more legs back on the board. It doesn't really matter with the highest checkout right now, but checkouts wise, 53.85% for James Wade. That's 7 out of 13 on his doubles. As for Going Price, 3 out of 8 on his doubles so far, but it's been enough to get him 3 legs on the board out of the last 5, which will be a massive confidence booster for him. Both have thrown 100 pluses 19 times. James Wade has hit 940 pluses in comparison to Going Price's 8. But 3 180s for Wade and 2 180s for Going Price means that this game is currently at 7-3. Don't think this one is necessarily done yet. I mean, Taffy's in the stream. Thank you so much for joining, Taffy. I hope you're all good. He puts, Wade can win this. Good to see. Class player at the moment, which he has been indeed. He's, for me, been the best player of the UK Open so far. Really, really enjoyable to watch, and of course, no doubt, one of the best finishers in the game. And then James has put, evening Josh, how are you doing, James? Hope you're all good. Had a good day. Had a brilliant day, got to say. Been able to sit back, relax, watch some football, watch some darts this afternoon, and it's been a really, really nice day to sit back and relax. So looking forward, of course, to the rest of the night's action still to come. I talked about things still to come on the channel. If you're new and you're wondering, well, what have you guys got to come on the channel over the next few days, then do not go anywhere because there is still so much content to come. Now, of course, you are watching the semi-finals and the finals, which are taking place right now. The final is probably going to be around about 9:30 tonight. And then on Monday, I'm going to be back for Inter Milan as they take on Atalanta in Syria. That's from 7:35pm kickoff, 10 minutes afterwards. And don't forget, if you are new to the channel or you want to play in our UCL FIFA Sim tournament, you don't need an Xbox or a PlayStation to play in this tournament. It's going to be a simmed FIFA tournament based on the Champions League of this season. So every player who plays will get a random team from this season's 32 teams that have taken part. I need 32 players for this tournament. We're going to stream it live on YouTube. It's free to play. And there will be a cash/gift card prize for the winner. So if you do want to play, then please do put your names down in the comments below, and I will add you to that list. And of course, once we've got 32 players for that tournament, then we will be streaming it live. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, touch wood, by Friday next week. So if you want to play, as I said, put your name down in the comments below. We're going to do that tournament next Friday. But we are about to get back underway with this game between James Wade and Going Price. And this could potentially be the last little bit of this match. If Wade can seal the deal. First to 11 legs. Best of 21 for those of you wondering. A little bit more in comparison to the quarterfinals, which was first to 10, best of 19. So we do get an extra 2 legs. Probably not going to get them here. Unless Going Price can get a few more legs back on the bounce. Which is going to be very, very tough for him indeed. But who knows? Who knows? We've had some crazy ones in the past. And as he gets more legs on the board, Price, the confidence will begin to build. Wade currently at 307. Price at 261. And I think here, James Wade is having a blip in the match. You can see a little bit of frustration on his face. Not really happy at all with some of the darts he's been putting in the last few legs. And Wade will, of course, probably lose this leg here. After getting 49, Price with 140 plus gets himself down to 130. And it's looking here like Price is about to get another leg on the board and make it 7-4, which makes it even more interesting. Needs 2 treble 20s and a double 5. Gets 1 treble 20. Gets a 10, which means he will be coming back. Unless Wade checks out 158 with 2 treble 20s and a double 19, which he won't do after hitting a treble 1. So, big moment here for Going Price. Tops needed for 7-4 to narrow the gap between himself and Wade. And he gets it. He only needs one dart at tops. And he gets himself 7-4. And now you start to look, and you do start to think to yourself, is James Wade a little bit nervous here? Has the pressure begun to build on the world number 5? And Elio, this picture is live. Don't you worry, we are live on the channel right now. So I hope you're all good. Welcome to the stream, buddy. But as Taffy's put, Price is an animal. He is indeed. If there's one thing I think Price is very good at, is being kind of like a mentality monster. He's very, very good at keeping calm and composed when he's down and up against it. And that's why he's world number 1. He was brilliant in the World Championship, finding himself in situations where he was under the cosh. But I'm going to stop for a second because 180 from James Wade puts himself down to 262. Can Gerwen Price respond? As he drops one of his darts, he's got an awful tendency to do that, Price. And he'll get 98 to put himself down to 224. If James Wade can get himself a 140 here, I think he'll put him in the driving seat. Or he can go one better and get a 180 and get himself down to 82, which means James Wade here is going to have a chance to finally get a leg on the board and break the Gerwen Price duct after getting, pretty much 4 legs on the bounce. James Wade here will go 14, then get 18, which means he's got 1 dart at the ball, and he gets it. And that is the 12th leg on the board of the match. 8 for James Wade, 4 for Gerwen Price. And that is the confidence booster I think James Wade had needed in this situation. Just to get that extra leg on the board and get a bit more confidence in this game, because just for a few moments there, his confidence was dwindling a little bit. And Gerwen Price was allowed to, get back into the match a little bit too easily, in my opinion. But I can see there's 100 of you. If you haven't left a like and subscription yet, then please, please do. Let's try and get those likes up. We've only got 15. And as I said, if you haven't subscribed, we're pushing towards 2k subs. We're going to be covering more darts events in the future. Potentially even some floor ones in the near future too. So do keep your eyes out for that. But I will say as well, I am going to be a little bit behind on the stream. I'm watching on ITV Hub, so I'm about 30 seconds behind the live score that you guys can see on the bottom of your screen. I can't see it right now, so try not to put any spoilers in the chat if you are ahead. As James Wade continues to roll on, he's not called the machine for nothing. He's down to 182 here. Going to get himself 2 treble 20s and a treble 14. To get himself down to 20, and you would think here, James Wade is about to make it 9-4 in this match. So double 10 needed for James Wade. First dart a little bit wide. Second dart hits the 10, so he's going to have 1 dart at double 5, which he gets. And that is a brilliant, brilliant moment in the match there for James Wade, who gets the 20, or the 5 technically from the 20, as it looks like here. Gerwen Price going to get himself 180 to start. James Wade's going to respond with a 140. What about Gerwen Price here? That's 4 20s, 4 treble 20s there, and he's down to 221 after 6 starts. Good start here for James Wade. For Gerwen Price even, not James Wade. Although I have to say Wade is keeping close by. He's at 265, Price at 221. The Buchanan report saying Wade the machine is kicking. He is. He's doing brilliantly tonight. Really good game this one. So Price at 121. Wade at 265. And you'd assume here, after only hitting 57, that Price is going to have an opportunity to make it 9-5. 1-2-1 is what he needs with 6 starts. Of course, he's not going to go for the 1-2-1 checkout. He'll get 89 to leave 32, with Wade back at 208. Chloe saying the problem is that whoever gets through in these games, will they play good later on when it really counts? Well, that's the thing. I think when you look back at the Ladbrokes Masters, for example, very, very similar in the way it's set up with the semi-finals and the finals. They're both played at the same time as going price checks out the 32 to make it 9-5. When you look at the way that these games are set out, it's a lot more harder for some players to play 2 games in quick succession, especially for whoever wins that game between Humphries and Van Gerwen, because you're not going to have a great deal of time to wait in between you playing that semi-final and going into the final. It matters in that last game, and as I was saying before, it was when Clayton played King in the final. King played incredibly well against Going Price. Really good result for him. But then, when he got to the final, never really showed up, did he? That's going to be the worry for James Wade. You know, we saw him in the, I think, was it the Boys Sports? Was it the Grand Slam or the Grand Prix? One of the two. Where he got to the final, played against Jose de Sousa, and then had an absolute stinker, pretty much. And de Sousa went to go on and win it. I don't think James Wade will do that. Considering this is the first game, he will have a little bit more time to be able to go out there and practice if he gets through. Let's not count Price out yet. But it's one of those for me where I think Wade will play a lot better if he does get through than he did in the Boils Sports. Because right now he's been absolutely incredible in this tournament. But let's not count him out yet. Going Price is still in this. He's currently at 150 price. Wade gets 78 to leave 100. So 2 treble 20s and a double 15 to make this 9-6. Which he won't be able to get Going Price. So James Wade will be coming back for 100. As I think Flash Goal might have crashed again. Apologies, so I'll keep you up to date with it. Treble 20, double 20 needed here for James Wade. Gets the treble 20. 2 darts at tops. And 1 dart is all he needs at tops. And James Wade will be going into the 3rd interval with 1 more leg from potentially being in that... Nanny said the World Championship. It's not the World Championship. It's the Ladbrokes UK Open final. And just as you thought maybe, Going Price early on after that 2nd interval, you got a leg on the board, you're thinking to yourself, is he going to get back into this? Will he get the belief and the confidence that he needs to be able to go on and get a result in the game? It's looking now like it's a little bit too much for Going Price. And James Wade is only going to need, I think, well, they're saying 1 more leg in this match. I thought it was 1st to 11, but it's looking like James Wade is going to be going through to the next round unless he has a major cock-up in the next few minutes. But as you guys have been saying in the chat, Taffy says, I'm a Price fan, but Wade deserves a few more titles. Class player. Absolutely agree with you. I think he's one of those players where you look at him and you think, how's he not won more in his career? Because he's always been up there in the top 16 and 32 for years now, but just not getting the titles that, in my personal opinion, I think he deserves. But, of course, he might be 1 step away from it, depending on what happens in the next few minutes, because he's about 5 or 10 minutes away from going through to the next round, of the final round of the Ladbrokes UK Open. And then Daz puts, hope it's not Kirk Bevins doing the final. Hope it's Russ or George on the final, Josh. I think it might be Russ who's on the final. Of course, we'll not know until it actually gets to it, but I think Russ will probably be on the final for it. But we'll find out a little bit later on, of course, when we get into the next game and see who's refereeing that next match. But let's talk through the stats for a second. James Wade currently 10-5 up in this match. Flash score not updating because it's a little bit rubbish at points. But as you can see, with the averages so far in the match, James Wade really upped his game in the last few legs. He's now averaging 99, with Going Price averaging 97.71. So both players really upping their game there for a moment. But, of course, James Wade just doing a little bit better. Highest checkout, as I said, doesn't really matter as such right now. The checkout stat is the important one, which we know James Wade is one of the better players in the world at checking out. And he's doing brilliantly well right now. 55.56% on his checkouts. That's 10 out of 18 on his doubles. As for Going Price, 5 out of 12 on his doubles, which isn't bad. 41.67% on his checkouts. But when you're playing someone like James Wade, you have to up your game on finishing because he's one of the best in the world of darts at finishing on doubles. As for 100 pluses thrown, Going Price has been able to get 28. James Wade has hit 30. 140 pluses, there's been 12 for Going Price and 16 for James Wade. And then the 180s category, as you can see, he's flying away with it right now. James Wade 6 compared to Going Price's 3. So you can see why James Wade is in the lead. He's hitting more 180s and more 140s. And overall finishing better. But if Gerwen Price wants to do anything in this game, he's going to have to up his game very, very quickly because he's about 5 or 10 minutes away from being knocked out of this tournament. But please, 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 as I said, there's 100 plus of you in here. If you are new, you have enjoyed the watch along so far, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription. We're at 1.92k subs. We only need 80 more subs to get to 2k. So if you're not subbed, please, please, please help us to get us to that target. And as I said before, I can confirm we will be looking to do the Premier League of Darts when that comes around in a few weeks' time. Of course, we've got the PDC Super Series over the next few weeks to guide us into the next big tournament, which will be the Premier League, which is going to be on the first week of April for 5 nights. Looking forward to it. So, going to be a very good week of action when that comes around. But both players about to get back onto the oche, and I think it calls for the first swig of alcohol of the night. James Wade currently 10-5 in this match against Gerwen Price, looking very, very good in this game so far. But the real question is, can Gerwen Price somehow pull off an incredible comeback? Because the last time James Wade won this competition was 10 years ago, back in 2011. The time he won it before that was 2008. And when you look at the picture, of course, they've got the Hall of Fame pretty much of players that have won the Ladbrokes UK Open over the yesteryear. When you look at the picture that they've got for James Wade, he looks incredibly young. He's a different man now. And he might also be about to put his name into the Ladbrokes UK Open winners section again if he can beat Gerwen Price and make it to the final. Big moment in the game this is going to be now. It's absolutely critical that Gerwen Price wins the next few legs, or else James Wade here, with 1 leg left in the match, will be going through to the next round. First to 11. Best of 21. James Wade averaging 99.81. Gerwen Price averaging 96.58. It's been a very, very good game so far. Are the Premier League fixtures out yet, Josh? They're not out yet. I would assume that the Premier League fixtures will come out within the next few weeks. Could maybe come out tonight once this tournament's done. But I'd probably say in the next week or two, they'll come out and we'll know a little bit more about what's going to be going on with the Premier League, of course. With no fans for the first few sections of the tournament, we don't necessarily need to know as much as such earlier on than we would for those going to the stadiums and such. But yeah, it shouldn't be too long before the fixtures are announced. We know the dates for the first 10 nights, but it's one of those where I think it'll be very soon before we get the fixtures. The Buchanan Report Sport talk about young, where's your ID? If you want me to get my ID out, I could show you. No, honestly. Young at heart, I'm 20. Young at heart still, somehow. As we have a chance here for Gerwen Price to maybe make it 10-6 in this match. He has to. He's got to win every leg in the game now. Price down to 76. Wade at 226. Mr. Sport Compilations, how are you doing? Hope you're good, buddies. Put Humphries for the title. I tell you what, that'd be a brilliant story if Humphries won it. One of the young players in darts. That's been brilliant, you have to say, throughout this tournament. As Price checks out 76 on tops, and he gets that first leg that he needs on the board. It's 10-6 now. He cannot afford to slip up at any given point, as James Wade smacks in a 180 to start off the 17th leg of the match, and that's his 7th maximum of the game. I mean, if he was to get a 9-darter to win it, that would be absolutely bloody brilliant, wouldn't it? Don't think it's going to happen. As I said, we've been covering the darts on here for quite a while. I've never had a 9-darter yet. We had the 9-darter from James Wade at the Championship. I wasn't even live. Missed it. We had a 9-darter in the first round of this tournament. Wasn't being streamed, so we're still waiting for it. But Stephen saying in the chat he thinks Wade for the title. Taffy saying Wade for the title. As I said before, I think MVG will win it. But if I had to pick a player, I'm going James Wade. I'd love to see him win it. I think he deserves it for how well he's played in this tournament. I mean, potentially to beat Gerwen Price here by 10-6, 10-7, it'd be absolutely unbelievable. I don't think many people would have expected Wade to have played this good. You know, he's had moments where he slipped up in the match. As you would expect, I don't think necessarily in these longer formats, you are going to get players up to the full standard for the entirety of the game. But if he wins this 11-6 or 11-7, then it's a brilliant, brilliant result for him. But is he about to get there? 201 for James Wade, 220 for Gerwen Price. As I said, I can't see this the scoreboard on the bottom of my screen right now, so I'm a little bit behind. So he might have just won it. He might still be going on, but Wade at 160. Price at 220. Going to be treble 20 there for Price. And another one really needs a 180 here to put himself at tops. And he gets it. And this is a massive moment in the match. Unless James Wade checks out this 160 here, you think to yourself, it could be 10-7. 81 for Wade will put him down to 79. And a big moment here for a break of throw in the match. Gerwen Price, 3 darts at tops. Needs double 20. First dart hits the 20. Second dart just under the line of the 10. And he's not hit it. Which means James Wade, it'd be very James Wade to check out treble 19, double 11. Gets 19, which means he's got 1 dart for tops to win 11-6. And he does it! Brilliant, brilliant performance from James Wade. All you can do is put your hands up and say that was an absolutely fantastic performance from James Wade, who finds himself in the final of the Ladbrokes UK Open after an 11-6 win against the world number 1 Gerwen Price, and he played a brilliant, brilliant game. Not once in the match did you ever well, I think there'll be maybe one part in the match where you thought maybe you could get back. But it was always feeling kind of comfortable for Wade. The instant minute he got that 5-0 lead, it was always going to be looking like James Wade would go on and win it, especially with how he's played in this tournament. But I'll tell you one thing, incredible, absolutely incredible performance. 11-6 against the world number 1. And for those of you that were wanting a Gerwen Price MVG final, you're not going to get it because Wade's in the final after an 11-6 win. And a very, very deserved 11-6 win, you have to say. Brilliant, brilliant performance in the end. And you've got to give him all the credit for an outstanding performance, which we'll look over the stats in a little moment's time. But let's, of course, have a look, first of all, and see what everybody's been saying. Taffy saying, come on, Wadey. Stephen saying, Wade won, let's go. Chloe saying, let's not predict who will win the title or the matches yet. I remember a certain MVG losing the World Championship, so anything can happen, which you are spot on, Chloe. YT LP Master 350 says, hello all, how you doing, YT? Thank you very much for joining us. Dimsky saying, blimey Josh, you'll wear yourself out. Holiday after the darts is over. I wish I could. I've got another stream tomorrow night to do. I'm going to be streaming Serie A match tomorrow. And then Nels has put a piece of herself laughing, are you 12? Well, I mean, I'm nearly 21. That's the mad thing. Young at heart right now. It might be because I've had a bit of a shave, but I'm young at heart. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Nels. Hope you're good, buddy. Good to see Pricey beat. I think there'll be a lot of people out there who don't like Price. They'll be absolutely delighted he's been booted out of the Ladbrokes UK Open. But what a win in the end for James Wade. Absolutely spanked him up, if we're being honest with him. As Nels has put, let's see Shrek beat. I wonder who Shrek is. I think we all know who Shrek is out of Humphries and Van Gerwen. Let's take a moment to have a look at the stats of the match between James Wade and Gerwen Price, because overall, really, really well-worked game from James Wade there. So let me get the stats up on the screen for you. So you'll be able to see on the bottom right-hand corner, 96.46 average for James Wade and a 96.68 average for Gerwen Price. So as you can see, both very even on the averages tonight. But ultimately, you'll see in a second the one stat that was absolutely detrimental to James Wade's performance, and that was the checkouts. 57.89% on his checkouts. That's 11 out of 19 on doubles. As for Gerwen Price, 6 out of 16 on doubles. Not the greatest performance in the world when it comes to finishing. But then you just have to give credit to James Wade for pretty much finishing 9 times out of 10. Brilliant, brilliant performance from him in the end. And didn't really allow probably Gerwen Price as many opportunities to finish at doubles as he would have liked in the match overall. 100 pluses thrown, 32 for James Wade, 31 for Gerwen Price. 140 pluses, 17 for James Wade and 13 for Gerwen Price. And then 7 180s to 4 from Gerwen Price. So you can see pretty much in every single category tonight, James Wade outplayed Gerwen Price. And as we all know, and for those of you that aren't aware, if James Wade wins this tournament, Rob crosses off the top 4 spot. James Wade will take his world number 4 position, and Rob Cross will move down probably in the rankings a little bit more. I don't know if he'll go 5th, 6th, or wherever he's in the table, but James Wade will definitely move up to number 4 if he wins the tournament. But the question is, who's he going to be facing in the next round? Is it going to be Humphries, or is it going to be Van Gerwen? We'll talk about that game in a little moment. The Buchanan reports put, Josh, slow down on the juice. We need you till the end. We are all drinking enough for you. Honestly, the Buchanan report, it tends to usually get quite, I wouldn't say messy, it never gets messy in this stream, but the drinking goes on quite a bit in this stream. So we're on gin now. We are on the gin. And then Taffy's put, they're scared of him, that's why. Which is very true indeed, as apparently it's gone Spurs 1, Palace 1 in the Premier League. Not too bad there, not too bad. But what I'm going to do is quickly take a moment to just say, very recently I had a massive opportunity to interview Devin Peterson. We saw him earlier on today in the quarterfinals of the Ladbrokes UK Open being knocked out by Gerwin Price. But I had a fantastic opportunity to be able to interview Devin Peterson a few days ago over his life in the PDC. A serious injury, of course, he picked up a few years ago, how he helped him self to develop as a player, as well as, of course, his walkout song, which is Waka Waka. So what I'm going to do is just give you a little moment or two, a 2-minute preview of that interview that I do with Devin Peterson. If you want to watch the interview, it is available on the channel as I get ready for the next game, which is Humphries versus Van Gerwen. Put your predictions in the chat for that game. But here's a quick look at that interview I had with Devin Peterson. It was a brilliant one. I'm delighted to say today I'm joined by the 31st ranked player in the PDC Order of Merit, and he's nicknamed the African Warrior. It is Devin Peterson. How are we today?
Josh, I'm great, my man, and I'm pleased to be interviewed by you today on your podcast. It's really great.
Thank you very much. First of all, once again, thank you very much for your time indeed. It's massively, massively appreciated. I want to take you back to the very start of your career, and I know it's probably a question you've been asked a lot from many pundits and stuff, but what's the thing that got you into darts? And specifically, to kind of change the question up a little bit, who was the person in your life, whether it be a darts player or somebody in your family, that gave you the motive or the drive to go out there and get your PDC tour card?
I think it was obviously our family, in a sense, as in my dad's side of the family. It's well kind of interviewed that my dad was the kind of driving force behind my career. I remember the one time I was doing South African for the like the international trials, and I got to a high level. I think I was ranked 3rd, and I never got selected for the team, and then came back and never practiced, never picked up a dart, and kind of lost the love for the game. And my dad said, why don't you just give it one more shot, and just give it a proper shot, you know what I mean? And I think that words, I mean, those small, that little sentence kind of just resonated with me. And my dad's always been in my corner, no matter what I'm doing. Always my biggest critic and biggest fan as well. So yeah, if you were to ask a dad, it's definitely my dad, and he in our family is a legend as well on the dartboard, and in our local community. So yeah, he was my first idol growing up in the sport, and definitely one of my biggest motivating factors today.
And specifically, so if you want to actually listen to a little bit more of that, I'm not going to show you too much, of course, because that is going to be coming up. It's actually available on the YouTube channel now. Then you can access that Devin Peterson interview. We did it a few days ago. Really, really fantastic person to talk to. Got a lot of history, of course, in the PDC, and is a really enjoyable person, as I said, to talk to. Do go and check that interview out. It's available on the YouTube channel now, part of the Double Top podcast, which is a podcast that me and Chris Welch, who is one of the loyal viewers on the channel, do every few weeks to cover the world of darts. So if you do want to check that out, definitely look at the video. I'll put the link in the chat at some point. In fact, I will put the link in the chat now for that video, because it's a brilliant, brilliant watch and well worth checking it out indeed. But we are going to move on now to the next game of the night, and it's going to be Luke Humphries, who will be taking on, of course, MVG. What a game this is going to be. As I said, if you want to watch that video, links in the chat. Definitely well worth checking that out at some point. Maybe it's a little bit of viewing after tonight's Ladbrokes UK Open, or maybe even before the final, because we're now about to find out who is going to be facing James Wade in the final. Is it Luke Humphries, or is it mighty Michael van Gerwen? He's seen some of his biggest rivals knocked out of the competition. Peter Wright knocked out early on. Of course, we just saw a moment ago Gerwin Price, probably his biggest rival, knocked out by James Wade 11-6. Is MVG going to be another one biting the dust tonight? Or will he be going through to the final in what will be a very good game against James Wade? Both players, onto the hockey. Put your predictions in the chat, as I said. Daz saying 11-10, which is going to be an interesting game if it went all the way. And Humphries won it. I think there'll be a lot of people celebrating that one. And then the Buchanan report has put your great fun having a ball listening to you. Thank you, Buchanan. You're an absolute legend. God bless your soul. As we're about to get underway with the game tonight. I am just going to say very quickly as well, once again, for those of you that are listening along tonight, the scoreboard on the bottom right will be a little bit ahead of the stream that I'm watching. So I do apologise. If I'm about 30 seconds behind, it's because I'm watching this on ITV Hub. If you're in the UK, you can watch tonight's game. It's on ITV4. If you're not in the UK, it's on pdc.tv. So, of course, well worth checking those two out if you want to watch it. But let's go and find out what happens here. MVG. This is a massive, massive test for MVG. Not just of his nerves, but purely based on the fact that when you look at the competition so far, we haven't really seen the MVG we expect. And I think we've said it in the past, it's one of those where ultimately, I think for many, many months, MVG hasn't turned up to the full capability of what we know and what a lot of people love him for. But tonight, this could be a great opportunity for him to really up his game. And he's got a tough job on his hands because Luke Humphries has been brilliant in this tournament so far. Has had a few tough games, but has made a lot of them look very simple. But is he going to come out on top? That's the question. We'll have to find out. Taffy's put, hope the young kid wins it, Humphries. And it would be brilliant if he did, as MVG will smack in the first 180 of the night. I expect a fair few of those today. I think if I'm going to make my prediction, I'm going to go 11-7 to MVG. But who knows tonight? We've already seen a game where I don't think many of us would have predicted 11-6 to James Wade, but that game done fairly quickly tonight, which does mean, if you're wondering when the final's going to be, I would assume it would be around about 9:30. So we'll probably be done around about 10:30 tonight. A little bit earlier than I expected it to be done, but who knows? It all depends on what happens here with MVG. He's on for a 1-2-8 checkout, which he won't get, but he will leave himself on a checkout of tops for the first leg of the game. And in fact, he won't even get a chance because that is a brilliant ton-plus finish from Luke Humphries. 1-1-2 there. And that's a brilliant, brilliant checkout from the youngster who gets the first leg on the board of this game. And that'll be a massive confidence booster for him early on. Get that first leg. Take it to MVG. We saw it in that game earlier on today if you watched against Ratajski. You know, Ratajski came firing on all cylinders, and I think it was the first 3 or 4 legs on the bounce that Ratajski won, pretty much. And he was looking very confident. Averaged 140 in the early stages, which is quite impressive. I was sat there last night watching the MVG Michael Smith Premier League game where he got the record of 123.3 average. I don't quite think we're going to get that same performance tonight, but who knows, who knows. Is Humphries in the driving seats though so far? He gets himself 100 to leave himself at 211. MVG, he's going to match that 100 and get himself down to 121. So he's going to have at least 3 darts here to check out that 121. Humphries, you would assume, will leave himself with a respectable finish, which he doesn't in the end. Only gets 79 to leave himself, I think, the scoreboard is broken on ITV, so we can't actually see what's going on right now. But for MVG, he was on for a 1-2-1 finish, doesn't get it in the end, so he will be coming back in a moment. And the scoreboard is broken on ITV. But it doesn't matter, because Humphries is going to get a 2-0 leg lead. Brilliant in the end. And it was, I think, a 1-2-1 there he checked out. Really, really nice from Luke Humphries, who puts himself 2-0 up on MVG early on, and that is exactly the confidence booster that the young lad needs. As I hope the scoreboard comes back, because I have no idea of what's going on right now with the scores, but Humphries here gets treble 20, Going to get another one on for the 180, which he won't get, but the 140 will do. As for MVG, he's going to have to try and get a 140 of his own. Gets treble 25 and a treble for 20 for 125. And I have just for the moment got up the flash score, so I'm just going to follow that for now. So MVG back at 295, Humphries at 144, looking likely here that there might be a chance for Humphries to go 3-0 up on MVG. And as you said, Taffy, MVG looks worried. He does. Do you think maybe it might be a case here that MVG didn't expect Humphries to come out firing on all cylinders? He's down to 16, Humphries. 3 darts at 888, which he'll definitely get. Has he got a chance to go 3-0 up? 3 darts at 888. He only needs 1 dart. He's 3-0 up. What a star. What a star. Dominant performance from Luke Humphries, who so far has not given MVG a chance in this game. Incredible. I don't really think many people would have expected him to be 3-0 up early on in this match, but he's doing really well. Callum's put, I will beat you. I'm guessing, does he mean he'll beat me? Probably would beat me in a game, to be fair. I'm not good at darts. I did have a few games today. Played shocking. But MVG around 97. Gets himself down to 308. Humphries at 442. Brilliant, brilliant start to this match for him. And he'll get a 140 to leave 302. He looks hungry tonight, Humphries. And, you know, as I was saying before, for me, he's come into a lot of the games, Humphries, and made them look calm, comfortable, composed. I don't think, for me, he's really been tested as much. I think the biggest test was his game earlier on today in the quarterfinals, which went down to a last leg decider against Chizzy. But even then, for large parts of the match, he just made it look easy and eventually got the win. But as Daz says, MVG looks tired. He looks really just... It's not the body language you would expect from MVG, or Shrek, as Nels has called him. I mean, I'm not going to call him Shrek because I don't mind MVG. I think I like him. I think he's a good player, and I don't want to get people mad. But he's not doing well so far. He's not doing well. Shrek is doing bad. As he gets 108, check out Humphries for a 4-0 lead. And now you can see the reaction. Look at MVG's face. He does not look comfortable in this match. I don't think MVG was expecting this performance from Humphries. But he's turned up. And as you said, and it was as Chloe said, there's a long way to go through in this match. We'll have to see near to the end who will win. But for me, most importantly, is if either of these two players goes through, can they play to this level again in the final? Which, of course, won't be too long after this game will have been completed. Kind of always the two players that play the last semi-final are always in a bit of a bad position because they haven't got as much time to be able to practice for the final. But you could also say at the same time it gives them the confidence that they need after that big win, maybe to just continue in the same vein. I mean, the Johnny Clayton final we had at the Masters a few weeks ago played brilliantly well against Peter Wright and took that confidence into the final where he battered Mervyn King pretty much for large spells. But a chance here for MVG at a 139. Treble 19, now needs treble 14. Double 16 for a 139. Brilliant from MVG. And that is the perfect leg that he needs just before the interval to give him the confidence booster. Could have had a 5-0 lead there, Luke Humphries, on double 12 had MVG not got the 139 checkout. But he gets it in the end, and that might be an important moment in the match because MVG, he gets that leg on the board that he desperately needed before the interval, and he finds himself now 4-1 down in this game. Still a long way to go, as Chloe said, in this match, but what a game this could turn out to be. A few ton-plus finishes on the board already in this one. I think we've had 2 for Humphries, and then that 139 there for MVG, who's got a lot of work to do. 4-1 down in this one. Of course, if you saw earlier on, James Wade beating Gerwin Price 11 legs to 6. Brilliant performance from the machine. That is James Wade, who steamrolled into that final a little bit later on tonight. But as it stands, it will be Luke Humphries making that final. He's currently 4-1 up on Michael van Gerwen. And let's have a look at the stats of the game, because you can see right now, average-wise, Luke Humphries averaging 101.96. I don't know what it is about MVG, but he always brings out the very best in players, doesn't he? In fact, I'm pretty sure, if you look this weekend, most of the players he played probably averaged around about the 100 mark. It's always a good watch whenever MVG is involved. He's averaging 97.13 right now, which is not a bad average, of course, but might need to just up his game a little bit here, because we can see 2 high checkouts already in this match. We had a brilliant 1-3-2 from Humphries, and this is James Wade for a second there. It's Humphries, of course. One of them early on in the match, I think that was for his second leg, and then, of course, Michael van Gerwen with a 1-3-9 there. Brilliant checkout in the end. And you can see, look at the checkouts. Apparently both players are at 100% right now, which is very, very good indeed. MVG, those first 4 legs, didn't have a single opportunity to be able to check out because of how well Humphries was playing. Dominant performance from the youngster. But in the end, could that 1-3-9 be the real difference maker in this match? We'll have to find out in a second. 1,600 pluses for Humphries to Van Gerwen's 8. 5 140 pluses to Van Gerwen's 3, but Van Gerwen has got the only 180 of the match so far, and he finds himself 4-1 in this game against Luke Humphries. Long way to go in this one. Don't forget, we've got more content coming up on the channel over the next few days. If you're into darts, don't forget the final is going to be taking place in about 1 hour's time. So stick around if you have enjoyed it so far. Monday night, I'm going to be back tomorrow with live Serie A action as Inter Milan take on Atalanta. That's live from 7:35. And then if you want to take part in our UCL FIFA Sim tournament, it's free to play. You don't need an Xbox or a PlayStation. It's based on the Champions League. It's going to be a sim tournament that we stream live on our YouTube channel. We need 32 players to be involved. There is a cash/gift card prize for the winner. So if you want to play, put your name down in the chat and I will put you down on the list. There's about 10 spaces left. So there's not many spaces left if you want to take part in that tournament. As I said, put your name down in the chat and I will put you down for that tournament, which will be taking place, fingers crossed, touch wood, next Friday. But as for now, Luke Humphries, 4-1 up on MVG. If you've enjoyed the stream so far, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription. We're at 1.93k subs. You can help us to get towards 2,000 subscribers on the channel, so your support is massively appreciated indeed. And I can see we've got 25 likes, so thank you for all of you that have liked. And there'll be a few dislikes because people don't tend to want to watch streams for watch-alongs, but even if you've not liked the stream, dislike it. As I said, we'd like to see whether you guys like this content or don't. And of course, likes and dislikes are always a good way to see what people kind of think of the streams. But Chris is in the building. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're all good. Welcome back. And here we go. Both players back out into the ocker here for the second set of legs before another interval. We could realistically see Luke Humphries go into the break 9-1. Probably not going to happen after a brilliant 1-3-9 checkout from Michael van Gerwen to get himself a leg on the board. This game's got a long way to go. As Chloe said earlier, James Wade will desperately be wanting this game to go on for as long as possible. But is Luke Humphries going to let that happen? Or will MVG maybe steamroll his way back into the match? We'll have to find out with both players back out onto the hockey for this game. But Taffy, that is for the UCL tournament that we're doing. It's a FIFA tournament, a simmed one on the channel. But we're back underway here. MVG will probably want to get 2 or 3 legs on the bounce here. Get himself back on par in this match. He finds himself in a pretty similar situation to what he did against Ratajski in the last round. His opponent averaging well over 100 and playing brilliantly well. But ultimately in that match against Ratajski, MVG came back. Got himself the result that he needed to make it through to the semi-final. Is he about to do it again? He gets 1-4-1 here, MVG, to leave 2 or 2. Luke Humphries back at 360. Only gets himself 100, which isn't bad. But MVG is probably going to get himself down to a finish quicker than Humphries does. Which he does. So 96 for MVG puts him down to 106 here. Luke Humphries going to get 140 to put himself down at 120. So a chance here for another ton plus finish. Treble 2014, double 16 needed. Gets the treble 20, which means one dart. He'll go for tops instead, which he gets. And that's another ton plus finish in the match for MVG to make it 4-2 in the game. And that is exactly what he needs to try and get back in the match. 6 legs, and we've had 112 finish, 139. And a 106 finish from MVG. I think that's the 4th ton plus finish of the match. We've only had 6 legs. And Humphries gets 180. Humphries down to 199. MVG back at 327. And only gets 97 to leave 230. So Humphries in the driving seat here to maybe take the 5th leg to his name in this match. And that is brilliant from Humphries. 139 will leave him at 60. MVG going to have to try and probably get a 180 here to put the pressure on Humphries, which he doesn't do, but a 140 he'll do, which means 2 darts at tops for Humphries. And 2 darts is all he needs. He hasn't missed a double yet in this game. Well, he has, but you know what I mean. Within 3 darts, he hasn't missed a double. But that is brilliant there from Luke Humphries, who puts himself 5-2 up in this match. And all he's got to think to himself here is for every leg that MVG gets back, if he can get a leg to his name, he can keep Humphries 3 legs behind. But, of course, that is with hindsight. I think there's going to be a long way to go in this game yet. I mean, Chris put Luke Humphries lost weight before the tournament too, which he has, hasn't he? Lost a lot of weight. Looking a lot more slimmer, and that's a big confidence booster for him. As apparently Tottenham have gone 3-1 up in their game against Crystal Palace, if you're interested in the Premier League. London derby, that, isn't it? Technically speaking. So MVG down to 132 here. Humphries at 302. Big chances in the match here. If Humphries can go 6-2 up, can MVG come back from 4 legs down? I think he probably could, but it's going to be a tough ask with the way that MVG's been playing over these last few weeks. MVG down to 40. Humphries responds with only 77 to leave 127. So top seed for MVG to make it 5-3 in the game, which he doesn't take out and only gets 20. Which means here, if Humphries can check out the 127, which to be honest, with the way that the game's gone so far, he probably would. Gets treble 19. Bull. Oh, he doesn't get it in the end. I think he hits 8 instead, which will leave him at 47, I think. 42 even. Van Gerwen, 3 darts at double 10 to make it 5-3. First dart just wide. Second dart just wide. And third dart nowhere near. And look at that reaction from MVG. Frustration beginning to build for the Dutchman. Because Humphries now is going to have 2 darts at double 16. And 1 dart is all he needs. It's 6-2. Brilliant from Luke Humphries. And MVG to me looks very dejected. He's changing something within his darts. Slight tweak of the darts I think here for MVG. Something not working. I wonder if he's just changed his flights there. We'll have to find out. And see if it works, of course, for him. Because he could potentially be bowing out of the tournament. As he gets a 1-3-5 to leave 3-6-7. Humphries at 4-4-3. Brilliant game this. If you're Luke Humphries right now, you've just got to keep your calm. Keep your nerves. We saw James Wade earlier. Gave a few legs to going Price. Don't think there were many people expecting Price to come back, but there was that little blip for James Wade. And you don't want to do the same thing in this match against MVG, although right now you've got to say MVG's finishing on doubles has been pretty poor. So Humphries down to 207. MVG at 191. And Humphries looking to get a 177. And a 137 will do to leave 70. MVG back at 191, so he's going to get 3 darts here. Taffy's put Humphries, come on kid. Hey, he might be about to go 7-2 up here. Doesn't matter what MVG does at the 191. If Humphries checks out 70, he's going to have a 5-leg advantage over his opponent. Treble 18, double 8 needed. Gets treble 18 and gets double 8. And this is a masterclass performance from Humphries in checkouts. I mean, we were saying earlier about James Wade being an absolute master of the doubles, but my lord, this is brilliant from Humphries. As Van Gerwen smashes in a 180 to start the 10th leg of this match. Humphries going to respond with a 180 of his own. Both on for a 9-darter. And Van Gerwen won't have a chance of the 9-darter. And gets 100 to leave 2-2-1 after 6 starts. What can Humphries do? He won't have a 9-darter either. But he'll get 100 as well. So both plays down to 2-2-1 here. What a brilliant game this is. I mean, if you'd have said to Luke Humphries... I know there's still a lot of time to go in this game, but if you'd have said to Luke Humphries, you are going to take a 7-2 lead over MVG and be one potential way away from the final, although I'm saying that, 130 checkout from MVG, and yet again, it's another 130 checkout just as we go into an interval. MVG makes it 7-3, and Humphries is potentially 4 more legs away from a Wade final. But MVG, yet again, just proving that he can still get a few good finishes on the board. Brilliant there from him with a 130 at the bull. But he's got to do a lot of work here because right now, of course, he's still 4 legs behind Luke Humphries. And I'll tell you one thing, a Wade Humphries final would be a brilliant setup. You get a really well-deserved winner either way. I think when you look at the 2 players overall, and let's not, obviously, as I said, let's not get too excited because MVG's still in this game, but Humphries and Wade have probably been the 2 most informed players in this tournament. So when you look at it in that respect, it would look fair for both of those 2 to make the final. But let's have a quick talk on the stats. 7-3 as it stands in this game. MVG yet again with another 130 plus finish in the match just before the interval. He hit the 139 in the 5th leg and then hit the 130 in the 10th leg of the match. And as you can see with the stats on the screen, let me just put it up a little bit more. Look at that. The averages of this game have completely shot up in the last 5 legs. 107.13 average for Luke Humphries. He's playing the game of his life against MVG, who's currently averaging 103.84. So he's playing a pretty decent game himself, average-wise. Lots of high checkouts. The 139 will still be the highest checkout for MVG in the 5th leg, but the 130 will certainly do in that 10th leg, although Humphries has hit a 132 of his own. But look at that. That's all you have to really look at for the stats of this last game. 77.78% on his doubles so far. 7 out of 9 opportunities. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. He's not missed many chances so far in this game. As for MVG, he's not had a lot of chances, but he's not taken them either. Only 33.33% on checkouts. And then as you can see, like before, 2,700 pluses in this game for Luke Humphries and 20 for Michael van Gerwen. 11 140 pluses for Humphries and 8 for Van Gerwen. And then 2 180s apiece. It's a pretty interesting game right now. Long way to go, I think, still. Luke Humphries, 4 legs up on MVG. But what can the world number 2 do to get back into this match? We'll have to find out in a second. But I know you guys have been having a kind of talk in the chat about one of the questions Chris put in. He put question for everyone. Do you think no crowd is affecting the likes of Price, MVG and Wright performances? Chloe said, yes, Chris, I think so. Probably the likes of MVG and Cross more than Price and Wright. I think it's probably affecting Price a little bit. I know he said he doesn't feel like the world number 1 right now because there's no crowd to jeer him on. But hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, in July we'll have fans back for the world match play. And then Taffy said, maybe yes, Price, Wright and MVG love the crowd. Chris saying it affects MVG, Price and Wright, in my opinion. They play off the crowd, which I agree with you on that one. And then Rio, hope you're all good, thanks for joining us. But he says, definitely, the less experienced players perform so much better without the crowds. Just take a look at last year's majors winners comparing to a previous years. Yeah, I agree with you that. I think you only have to ever look at players like, for example, Mervyn King. Not a massive fan of the crowd, doesn't, it's okay, the atmosphere, but for a player of his quality, he likes to not have the crowd there. He likes the atmosphere being nice and calm and quiet, no distractions. And some of the performances he's put in have been much better without a crowd than it has been with a crowd. But right now, I mean, Luke Humphries, it doesn't matter for him because he's 4 legs away, minimum, for go through to the next round. This game could be done and dusted without even having a third interval. I don't think it will be. But both players back out onto the hockey again. Don't forget, if you are new to the stream, please don't forget to leave a like and subscription. We're up to 1.93k subs. You can help us to get towards 2k subs on the channel. We will be covering more darts events in the future. I'm the only one on the channel that watches darts, so you've always got me, yes. And we always drink as well. Bottoms up. As we get back underway, 7-3 to Luke Humphries. How's your bottle? Because he's going to need it here. He could win the next 4 on the bounce and end this game fairly quickly. Or we could allow MVG a chance to come back and maybe by the third interval this game be 7-6. Well, it'd be more than that, wouldn't it? It'd be 8-7, wouldn't it? If he won 5 legs on the bounce. Can never write MVG off though. Chris has put that's why D'Souza probably won Grand Slam. Vandenberg won Match Play and Durrant won Premier League last year. Yeah, I mean the Durrant one I'd have probably said that's one of the reasons why. I'm saying with Clayton as well. I think Clayton played brilliant without a crowd. But I'm interested to see when the Premier League continues, if fans are back after April, how some of those players respond. Because the table could change completely. I mean, for me, I think this is the most open Premier League we've had in years, which makes it so exciting. But without a crowd as well, it's going to be interesting. But 81 chance for a checkout here. Humphries gets the treble 19 and then gets the double 12. And it's an 8-3 lead for Humphries. He's 3 legs away from knocking out the world number 2. Is it going to happen? Because it's been a brilliant performance. And so far, it's well deserved for Humphries. But he's just got to keep his nerve. Don't allow MVG 2 or 3 legs on the bounce. Because if you make it 8-6 or 8-5, it will start to look a little bit nervous. You'll know that Van Gerwen's just behind you, closing the gap. Right now, you need to keep him on tenterhooks. Because we've seen frustrations, we've seen the body language of MVG. He's not necessarily looking as such, body language-wise, as competitive and as happy as he usually is. You can see him whinging and moaning a few times, which is understandable because some of his darts aren't going where they want him to. But make it 8-5, 8-6, and we've seen it before. Obviously, that one game we all remember with Joe Cullen in the World Championship, one of the most enjoyable World Championship games last year, left me shaking with shock. Can he do it again? He's going to need some MVG magic, that's for sure, because Humphries is down to 80. MVG back at 211. He's going to go for 3 treble 19s and gets 177 to leave himself at tops. Brilliant work there from MVG, but will he have a chance? Because Humphries has 1 dart at tops, which he doesn't get. So a chance here for MVG with 3 darts at tops for 8-4. And 1 dart is all he needs. Nearly in the middle of the double 20 bed. And he's 4 legs behind Humphries. And that will be a good confidence booster for him. We've seen a few times in this tournament where he's been a little bit under the cosh and he's had to motivate himself to get back into the match. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. But just like how it was for Gerwin Price, he needs to probably get the next leg on the board and make it 8-5. You cannot let Humphries make a 5-leg gap again. And as I said, it's just been one of those scrappy games, hasn't it, for MVG? Just can't really seem to get a foothold in the match right now, but he's got a chance here, maybe. Humphries only getting 80. He's down at 248. MVG at 230. Get yourself a decent 140. You might be able to put yourself in a good position. MVG gets 100 to leave 130. He's going to have at least 3 darts here. Unless Humphries could get himself a respectable few darts on the board, which in fact he goes even better and gets a 180 to leave himself down at 68. So 2 treble 20s and a double 5 needed for Van Gerwen. Gets treble 20, 1 for the bull. And he doesn't get it, gets the outer ball, which means could be a chance here with a 68, treble 20, double 4 for a 9-4 lead. He's going to go with 16 and 1 dart at double 16 and he gets it. And he's 2 legs away from the final. Brilliant, brilliant work from Luke Humphries. This is brilliant to watch. As I said, if you were sat there and you said to Luke Humphries at the beginning of this tournament that he was going to potentially make the final, he would have snapped your hand off. And now he's living the moment as he smacks in a 140 to start off this 14th leg of the match. MVG going to get a 133. He's down to 238. 150 of you in the stream. Bloody hell. Thank you all for joining. Greatly appreciated. As Humphries only gets a 60. And now MVG's in the driving seat here to maybe get that 5th leg to his name. And he certainly is in the driving seat. That's another 180 for MVG. He's down to 58. Humphries back at 301. And now you'd think here, 18 and tops should put him in a good position. First dart misses on the tops, but the second dart doesn't. And it's in. And that's 9-5. And this is a massive leg here. Will Luke Humphries be going into the break 10-5 up? Or will he be going in 9-6? This is a brilliant, brilliant moment for the youngster. He probably came into this tournament thinking, if I can get through the first few rounds, that's quite a success. But he's taken on some of the very best in the world. As he smacks in another 180, and you've just got to put your hands up and say, this is an absolutely world-class performance from Humphries. Brilliant. Taffy saying great final word versus Humpy, surely. It's looking like it. Although MVG down to 187 here. 99 for Humphries. He's down to 128. And into checkout territory. So MVG leaves himself at 68. Treble 18. Now treble 14. He's going to treble 18 again, which means he's got a chance of double 10 for a 128 checkout. That is brilliant. And every single time we've got into the interval, we've had a ton plus finish. And that is fantastic from Luke Humphries. In the first 5 legs, we ended with a 130 from MVG. Then we had a 139. And then Humphries, he strikes back with a fantastic finish of his own. And he's 10-5 up. And he's 1 leg away from going through to the Ladbrokes UK Open final. 11-5 it could be here. Who would have thought that? Brilliant, brilliant performance from him. And MVG can only watch on and think to himself, what else can I do in this match? He's been pretty poor on his finishing, but Humphries right now is having the game of his life when he needed it the most. And of course, he's 1 leg away from the final, which we'll talk about in a little moment's time. But let's kind of take a break for a moment and talk about the stats of that game, because as it stands, it's 1 more leg for Luke Humphries, and then he will be playing James Wade in the final. And as it stands with the averages, look at that. I think you can see it now. 107.95 average from Luke Humphries and 107.01 from MVG. They're both playing brilliantly well average-wise, but yet again, pretty much you could take what I said about 10 minutes ago and repeat it again. 71.43% on doubles for Humphries, that's 10 out of 14, and 38.46% on MVG's doubles, that's 5 out of 13. Not good enough on his checkouts tonight, MVG, or else he would have been in a much similar position to Luke Humphries, and this game would have been a lot more closer than a lot of people would have expected it to have been. And you can see 100 pluses thrown, 38 for Humphries and 34 for MVG, 14 140s for MVG and 19 for Humphries with 5 180s and 3 for MVG. So he's having the game of his life right now, and he's only probably got about 2 more minutes potentially before he's going to be in that final, which should take place around about, I would assume, 9 o'clock. Don't think there'll be much longer to wait until that final kicks off, in my opinion. But very quickly, for those of you that want to keep up to date on when we go live on the channel, if you are new, please do leave a like and a subscription. I see there's 28 likes tonight. There's a lot of you that haven't clicked the like button yet, so please, please do. And if you haven't subbed yet, we are going to be covering the Premier League of Darts in April. So please do leave a sub if you haven't already. Our social media links, if you want to check us out on social media. Our Twitter is at @the_top corner, and our Instagram is _sportscorner_. You can check those two out. We always post when we're going live on YouTube, as well as when we post articles on our website, which is thesports-corner.com. We've got new articles going up every single day. So if you're a big fan of football or darts and you want to read, maybe you've got to spare 5-10 minutes of time to read an article that we've written, then our team at the Sports Corner are putting up new articles available every single day. That, as I said, is the sports-corner.com. Please do check it out if you haven't already. But as it stands, Luke Humphries, one leg away from going through to the next round. Is he going to do it? I think he is. And that'll be underway in just a moment's time. Aaron's just asked in the chat, what football team do I support? I support Rotherham United in the EFL Championship. So, had a brilliant win against Sheffield Wednesday a few days ago. And then all the team pretty much got COVID. So, brilliant in the end. But who are you back in the final? I think we can start to kind of say who's going to be there. Who are we back in? Is it Team Humphries or Team Wade? I think there are a lot of people going Team Humphries tonight. It'd be his first ever PDC televised final. In fact, it was his first ever PDC televised semi-final, and he looks like he's about to smash it with flying colours as both players are back onto the hockey for what is going to be the last section of this match. Is Humphries about to make that final? I think he is. But of course, you never know in the world of darts. It's a magical game, isn't it? It's a magical game. He's only 26, Luke Humphries. 6 years older than me. And he's in a final, potentially. But let's find out what happens. MVG has got to put in the performance of his life to have any hope of going through to the next round as we get underway with the last bit of this match. Don't forget, bottom right hand of the screen will be the live scoreboard. My game is a little bit behind. I'm currently watching on ITV. So it is about 30 seconds behind on the ITV hub. So if you're wondering why I'm saying different scores to what you can see on your screen, that's why. So I apologise, I'm going to be a little bit behind. If you are wanting to watch this in the UK, ITV4. If you are not in the UK, pdc.tv is where you can watch the match. But here we go, back underway now. MVG has got to do some serious MVG magic. Aaron's asked what your thoughts on the Manchester derby today. Incredible results for United. Absolutely brilliant for him. I don't think many people expected them to maybe go on as such and win the game, but they did with flying colours. So fair play to him. As MVG gets himself down to 267 after 6 darts. And Humphries here will just be thinking in his head, surely now, let's just go and get this leg on the board and win the game. Let's not allow MVG any chance of a comeback. As he gets 59. I do live in the UK, Callum. I do indeed. So MVG down to 208. Humphries at 301. He's going to get 86 to get himself down to 215. Big moments here. So 208. MVG will get 100 to leave 108. He's down to a finish of 68. Which he's going to have at least 3 darts at. But he will be under some pressure. As a 137 will leave Humphries at 78. So treble 20, double 4 needed for MVG. 1 dart at double 16, which he doesn't get. And that means Humphries has a chance to check out and end the game. Treble 18, double 12. Gets the treble 18, 1 dart. A double 6 for the match. Oh, that is brilliant from Humphries. That will no doubt be the biggest result of the 26-year-old's career. And he gets himself through to the UK Open final after what is a brilliant performance against Michael van Gerwen. He probably didn't even think he had it in the locker, but he averages around about 107 to beat the world number 2. And MVG is out of the UK Open. And Humphries will be going on to play James Wade with that match coming up, I would assume, around about 10 or 15 minutes' time. What a performance from Luke Humphries. Absolutely incredible. 11-5. And MVG is out. He can't complain at all about that because the youngster played the game of his life. Absolutely brilliant. 11-5. And that final, of course, will be coming up very shortly, which means I can update the screen. We now have our final, which is Wade taking on Humphries. Who are you backing for the final? That is the question. Because I think I'm going to be going Team Wade still, if I'm being honest with you. I think James Wade has been brilliant in this tournament so far. But, I mean, you've got to give credit to Humphries. Absolutely outstanding. And there we go. Brilliant, brilliant indeed. So let's take a quick talk about the actual stats of the game. Because, I mean, when you look at the stats, he deserves it in every single way. I mean, it's brilliant from Luke Humphries tonight. You can see on your screen 107.41 average to Michael van Gerwen's 106.27. And I think when you look at it, you probably think to yourself, MVG probably didn't play as if he was playing 106 average. And that's where you have to give credit, in my opinion, to Luke Humphries. Because he played so well in that tournament, specifically in this match as well. To go out there, to get a really high average, a really good checkout, it made that 106 average for MVG look bad. And of course, when you look further into the stats, as I said before, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but you know, stats-wise, when you look at the checkouts, MVG tonight just did not turn up at the doubles. And when he didn't turn up, Humphries punished him time and time and time again. And I was saying before in the last match with Wade Price, that was a game where it never felt like Price was ever going to get back into the match. But if I'm being honest with you, this was a game that felt even more that Van Gerwen was never going to get back into the match. It always felt like Humphries was going to go on and win the game in the end. And it felt just more of a case of when Humphries was going to win it rather than how. So you've got to give him credit in that respect. And as for the checkouts, probably one of the best checkout percentages of the tournament so far, which is brilliant considering he's left it to the semi-final. And he needs to bring that A game with him to James Wade. Because if he brings that game and plays the same way he did a few moments ago, that is going to make for a bloody good match. Because both players have been brilliant on their checkouts tonight. And it might make for quite an intriguing match. Maybe even for it to go the whole way. But in terms of the stats, 100 plus has thrown, 41 for Humphries and 37 for MVG. Brilliant, of course, there for Humphries. 19 140 pluses to MVG's 15. And then, of course, the 180s, 5 for Humphries and 3 for Michael van Gerwen. So overall, he pretty much dominated stats-wise, didn't he, realistically? Humphries always deserving of a spot there. And, of course, when you look at his ranking, he's 41st in the world. I think he might be about to shoot up the rankings after, regardless of whether he wins tonight, he'll be definitely shooting up the rankings after an incredible kind of weekend of action at the UK Open. Chris has put, what a start to this dart season. Clayton winning Masters and different winner in UK Open. What is going arguably greatest unpredictable start to a dart season. Expect the unexpected, which is absolutely spot on. I think that's what you can say about this season so far. It really has been a case of just expect the unexpected, because you think one person's going to win by a quite comfortable margin, but like this game, Humphries, incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I don't think even MVG expected him to turn up to the same calibre as what Humphries did tonight. I think he was expecting a much easier game, but Humphries, he took it to him and gave him a really good match, which you just have to give him credit for in the end for a beautiful performance that he will remember for a long time to come. Even if he doesn't win tonight, he will remember that game because he's just beat the world number 2 with flying colours. And I think for a lot of people, they still look at MVG as the number 1, but, you know, what a result in the end for him. Which means we have our final setup. We now know who's going to be in that final. It's Humphries, who's going to be taking on James Wade. That final should be starting in around 10 minutes' time. Flash Score has the final up for a 9 o'clock start, which is probably around about right. I think we had a 10 or 15 minute break in between the final at the Masters, so we'll have a little bit of time before that starts. So what I will, of course, say for a second here is when we look at this match on paper, this right now is going to be hard to predict. Both players, for me, in my personal opinion, these have been the 2 best players of the UK Open this weekend. James Wade had a really tough start in his first game, came into that match. Let me just get my stats up 2 seconds. His first game of the tournament, he came up against Ryan Joyce, won that match 10-9. It was a really close game. And, he could have easily been out in the early stages of this tournament. But after that, I mean, the run he went on in the rest of the matches is incredible. 10-7 against Rob Cross, which was a very comfortable and convincing performance against the world number 4, which means, as I said, if he wins, he will go number 4 in the world. Gabriel Clemens, 10-5 win, beat the Belgian comfortably, never really tested James Wade, in my personal opinion, in that match. Simon Whitlock, probably the only game where at certain points he looked a little bit patchy. And then Whitlock, I don't know how he bottled it in the end, but he did. And he lost 10-8. And then his best performance by far, probably the 11-6 win against Going Price, which we did see about an hour and a half ago. Seb is just after this chat. When does the final start? The final, I believe, will start around about 9 p.m. UK time. So we've got just under 10 minutes until that final starts. As for Luke Humphries, he started off the tournament much earlier than the rest of the pack. You can see on your screen, he started off, originally it was Justin Pipe he was going to play against, but Pipe, unfortunately, tested COVID positive, so he didn't play him in the end, which means he did get a bye into the next round, where he played Kim Heinbrechts. Not an easy opponent to have early on, is it, in the start of the tournament. Beat him 10-8, then played Ryan Searle, who has been one of the more informed players of the last year. That was a good 10-7 win. Both players averaged over 100 in that match. Beated Martin Kleermacher 10-4, which was another good result for him. A very, very convincing game. And then, as you can see, 9-10 in that match. Luke Humphries, Dave Chisnell was a really, really good game in the end. As I said, I don't think for me in that match, Chizzy dominated for large spells of that match. Humphries looked very calm and comfortable, and he got the 10-9 win before beating Van Gerwen 11-5. Price average was under the 100. Yes, it was, I think. Let me get it up for you in that James Wade one. He averaged, was it 97, I think? 96.68. That's what he averaged in that match. James Wade averaging 96, which is probably one of his lowest averages of the tournament so far for James Wade. But when you probably put all of his averages together, I think he at one point had the highest average of the tournament. When you put all the games together and get an overall average, I think he was averaging at one point around about the 100 mark, which is very impressive. But as you said, Seth, I would assume it's probably under the 100 now for an overall average because of the 96 he got in that last game. Daz says the board was a state when he played Whitlock. It was, but that's Whitlock starts, isn't it? It always ruins the board. And then Chris has put his prediction in the chat for the game. Wade 11, Humphries 7. Wade should win, as he's been in finals and won finals before, so he's experienced. I would back him, but Humphries beating MVG gives him a boost that he can beat anyone. Interesting indeed. So the final is going to be starting in 5 minutes' time, but very quickly, I am going to say we've got a podcast on the channel. If you're not aware and a big fan of the darts, I said don't forget to leave a like and subscription. We are 70 subscribers away from 2,000, so please help us to get to that target. We will be covering more darts events in the future. But if you're not aware, we do a darts podcast on the channel. It's called the Double Top Podcast. Myself and Chris, we do an episode every single few weeks based on, of course, everything that's going on in darts. So I'm just going to give you a quick preview of our last episode, which we talked about. Well, it was me just in that episode. Chris is back in the next one. But I talked about the Ladbrokes Masters, reviewing, of course, everything that went on, as well as previewing this event, so you can see some of my predictions in there. But take a look at the Double Top Podcast, which is available on our YouTube channel right now. Here's a look at it. Hello everyone, welcome along to the Double Top Podcast. It's episode number 2, and it's been quite some time since we've done the last episode. My name is Josh, and I would usually say that I'm delighted to be joined by my co-host, Chris Welch. However, unfortunately, he's not here today. He's having a little break from YouTube, so fingers crossed we do have him come back again in the next coming weeks. I hope he is doing well if he's watching this. So it's just me on my own. But we've got lots of stuff to talk about today on the episode of this podcast, including a very, very special PDC guest that joined me for a very special interview. It is the one and only Devin Peterson, of course, the 31st ranked player in the PDC Order of Merit, who I did do an interview with earlier today, so that's going to be coming up a little bit later on the podcast. But we've also got a few other things to talk about, as you can see at the bottom. I'm going to be talking about the Ladbrokes Masters, which was a few weeks ago. We'll also be talking about the Premier League of Darts. We now know the official 10 men taking part in the competition. And we've also just today, as I'm recording this, we've had a few little bits of information that's come out regarding how the tournament and when the tournament is going to be taking place. And then we'll also be looking ahead to the PDC Super Series alongside the players that have picked up their tour card at Q School in the past couple of weeks. So there's a lot to talk about. Without further ado, I'd usually have a bit of a longer intro. So if you want to see a little bit more of that, I'm not going to obviously show it you all, but that is available on YouTube, Double Top Podcast. We do that every few weeks to cover all of the big televised events in the world of darts. It's not just me usually. Chris is also with me to do a few episodes. He will be back, as I said, in the next few weeks when we do our next episode, which of course we will be reviewing the Ladbrokes UK Open and talking about the whole event itself, as well as the PDC Super Series, which is going to be well worth talking about because that is coming back in the next few days. But how are we doing, Kurt, Manchester United fan from Australia? Good to see you in the building, buddy, as always. And then Chris has put, of course, about the Wade going under the radar, which I completely agree with, as I was saying earlier. But that is the Double Top Podcast as well. Don't forget, there is also an interview I did with Devin Peterson. If you're not aware, a South African player. He was in the quarterfinals earlier on today. Lost, sadly, to Gerwin Price. But I did an interview with him a few days ago. We talked about everything in the world of darts. We talked about his walk-on song, Waka Waka, who got him into darts, and, of course, the future ahead for the African Warrior. So take a look at this clip. It's from the interview that I undertook with him. The link will be in the chat if you want to watch that while we wait for the final to start. Well worth checking it out. But here's a look at my interview with Devin Peterson. It's brilliant. I'm delighted to say today I'm joined by the 31st ranked player in the PDC Order of Merit, and he's nicknamed the African Warrior. It is Devin Peterson. How are we today?
Josh, I'm great, my man, and I'm pleased to be interviewed by you today on your podcast. It's really great.
Thank you very much. First of all, once again, thank you very much for your time indeed. It's massively, massively appreciated. I want to take you back to the very start of your career. And I know it's probably a question you've been asked a lot from many pundits and stuff, but what's the thing that got you into darts? And specifically, to kind of change the question up a little bit, who was the person in your life, whether it be a darts player or somebody in your family, that gave you the motive or the drive to go out there and get your PDC tour card?
I think it was obviously our family, in a sense, as in my dad's side of the family. It's well kind of interviewed that my dad was the kind of driving force behind my career. I remember the one time I was doing South African for the like the international trials, and I got to a high level. I think I was ranked third, and I never got selected for the team, and then came back and never practiced, never picked up a dart, and kind of lost the love for the game. And my dad said, why don't you just give it one more shot, and just give it a proper shot, you know what I mean? And I think that words, I mean, those small, that little sentence kind of just resonated with me. And my dad's always been in my corner, no matter what I'm doing, always my biggest critic and biggest fan as well. So yeah, if you were to ask a dad, it's definitely my dad, and he in our family is a legend as well on the dartboard, and in our local community. So yeah, he was my first idol growing up in the sport, and definitely one of my biggest motivating factors to date.
And specifically as well, I know you had a period of time where you had quite a serious arm injury that kept you out of darts for quite a long time. When you came back again in 2015 and got your tour card, were there any players from the PDC that advised you to come back into darts again, or were you thinking about maybe taking a little bit of a longer break?
No, I think the break that I took was kind of, it was almost destined in a sense, because at that time I just came over. I was trying to my behind off to kind of obviously maintain the tour card, get into the top 64, which I did. And then the injury happened. And when the injury happened, it gave me a lot of time to kind of look at my life. And at that time, I think I was 26, 27 years old, and I'm thinking, is this what I wanted? And then when I went back home, my dad was he was the one to give me the biggest comfort hug and say, listen, don't worry about it. You achieved a lot in the sport, achieved more than any African to do so. So I think with me, obviously, coming back and having my family as not a fallback, but being welcomed by the way in which they welcomed me. Just kind of, I felt as though I was back home and kind of finding my feet again. And then realized very quickly, like, I want to be a professional dart player so bad that. And the next, I think the second bite of the cherry was the biggest bite, and probably my most intriguing, if you must, because I pushed even harder because I knew what needed to be put in place for me to perform, and so on and so forth. So I think where the question moves towards is players on the one side, like there's nobody really that kind of said come back or whatever the case may be. It was more just my drive and me wanting to achieve and almost like this was unfinished business, if you must call it that. And I'm happy that I made that choice at that time, and I'm glad that I'm continuing to kind of reap the rewards, if you must call it that.
Absolutely. And, when we look on now, 6 years since your return, it's reaped the rewards, as you said, winning the German Darts Championship 8-3 against Johnny Clayton was a massive result. But looking at the World Championship as well, I was going to ask you one question specifically, and it's not about this year's World Championship, but have you ever been in a situation out of the darting situation where you've had some hotel antics with other players, different situations and scenarios that maybe we don't see as a neutral from an outsider's perspective?
No, not really. I think obviously you could. Most of the players itself, it's a massively respected kind of tight group of players. Like I think I'm not going to say the 128 because not everybody gets along, but I know that the top, like the let's say top 64 players, kind of, because you kind of travel all the time together and you kind of build like a relationships with different players. So there's no real antics or anything like.
If you do want to watch a little bit more of that, then that is available on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to put too much up because, of course, I would love you guys to go and watch it. The link, as I said, is available in the chat right now for those of you that are interested in watching that interview. It was fantastic to be able to have a chance to interview him. I said massive thank you to the PDC for allowing us to do that. And fingers crossed in the future, we might be able to get on a few more guests in the world of darts. It would be lovely to be able to get a few more interviews with a few different players. But massive thank you to Devin and the PDC yet again for that. Link is in the chat if you want to watch that. But we are looking very, very close to the final taking place. Now, as I said, both players coming into this final with a lot of confidence. Two of these players coming in with form as well. Most importantly, I think they are the two best players in this tournament in terms of how they've played, which should make for a very, very good match overall, in my personal opinion. Daz just said he saw who the ref is. Who's the ref for the game? You'll have to tell me, of course. But your predictions, I know you guys have been putting them in the chat while I was gone. Taffy saying he thinks Wade's going to win this 11-10, which is a very interesting shout indeed. As I said, Chris saying he thinks Wade's going to win it 11-7. I think 11-10. 11-10 Wade, in my opinion. I think he's going all the way. Both players have played brilliant in this tournament. Absolutely fantastically well. And I think to myself that if they can play to the same vein in this match, it should make for a brilliant, brilliant final. But it all depends. We've seen it before. As we said with the Ladbrokes Masters a few weeks ago, we saw Mervyn King put in an absolutely incredible performance against Gerwyn Price, of course, knocking him out of the competition. He came into the final and then he struggled massively, just wasn't able to get something going in the game and eventually lost to Johnny Clayton by quite a considerable margin. And I don't think that's going to happen today. I think Luke Humphries is more alert, he's more aware. And I think James Wade as well. Both players are definitely going to want to go out there and win this. We know that James Wade has got multiple titles under his belt and plenty of experience. Let's not forget that he won quite recently. He was in the final quite recently, wasn't he, of one of the ball sports events. I think it was the Grand Slam where he lost to Jose de Souza in the end. But he's always up there, usually gets himself to the latter stage of the competitions, and he's in the final now where Luke Humphries has got nothing to lose. He's beat MVG in brilliant fashion. And as I said, for him, getting into the final is a massive, massive thing for him. He probably, as I said, never expected to get there. I know he was saying in one of his interviews quite recently that he was just thankful that he made it to the quarterfinals. I don't think he ever expected to actually make it to the final in the end. But he's here, and now he's got a chance to win a bit of silverware. And then, of course, if you're watching along, you'll have seen a second ago, 2008 and 2011 champion James Wade is going to have to put in a much better performance than he did in that Boyle Sports final because he played terrible in that game against Jose de Souza. But I don't think he'll be bringing in that performance tonight. Love James Wade as a player. I think he will go down as one of the most underappreciated players in darts when he leaves the game. Always been up there in the last couple of years. And I think these two, fingers crossed, touch wood, give us a brilliant, brilliant final because both of these are going to be hungry for success. So, as I said, put your predictions in the chat. Mr. Sport Compilations, of course. I know you're backing tonight. Going to be backing Luke Humphries all the way. He's gone 11-0. It's going to be a whitewash in the final. Has there ever been a whitewash in the final before? Someone will have to tell me. If anybody's got those, the darts knowledge that I haven't, is a novice of the darts. But this is it. We're getting underway. Chizzy and Van Gerwen are the two players that were knocked out by Luke Humphries in the last 24 hours and less. But now he's going to have to take on the machine, James Wade. Perfectly timed, Tyso. You're in the building. He's just starting now. You picked the perfect time to come in, buddy. Welcome along. Whitlock and Price, the two players that James Wade knocked out in the last kind of 6 or so hours, maybe less. Well, actually a little bit more, to be fair. Not 6 hours, probably 12 is the best way to put it. But here we go. This is the final. Who have you put your money on? Because my money's on James Wade. In fact, I'm very tempted to quickly go and put a bet on James Wade for some money to make it a bit more exciting. But here we go. This is it. We're about to get underway. Just once again, for those of you in the chat, you will see the scoreboard on the bottom right hand of your screen. It will be ahead of what I can see on my screen. Reason why is I'm watching on ITV Hub. If you're looking to access the game tonight, it's available on ITV in the UK, or if you're watching this from abroad, it's available on pdc.tv. So do go and check those out if you're wanting to watch them. But we are underway in this game. This should be a brilliant, brilliant match. As James Wade looks to smash in the first 180 of the night. But he gets a 140 to start. Chris saying 2014 was only whitewash. Ended Adrian Lewis 11. I'm guessing you meant 11-0 against Terry Jenkins. Which is mad, isn't it? A whitewash in a final is absolutely crazy. By the way, if you wanted the bookies odds, James Wade currently 4-7 to win this match. As for Luke Humphries, he's 5-6. So both players very, very even on the odds tonight. If you were to put a fiver on Luke Humphries winning, you'd win £9.17. That's the same with James Wade. So a massive, massive game indeed this for both players tonight. As Humphrey starts with a 187. Wade at 204. He's going to get 100 to leave 104. And this is big, big moments early on. Who's going to take the first leg of the match? That is the question. I mean, Mr. Sports put or stream for free on Twitch. I mean, I'm not supposed to say that, but that is another option on the table. So double 28 for James Wade, first leg of the match. A little bit too high. Which means he will be left with a chance at tops, but Humphries could get the first blood on the game. Needs bull, which he doesn't get. Gets the outer bull. And he won't be checking out 95. Had to check it out at the bull, which means James Wade will be coming back on tops at double 20. Which his first darts hits the 20, so he'll be coming to double 10. Now he's going to double 5, which he doesn't get. So a chance here for Humphries again, 9 with 2 darts at double 8. To take the first leg of the match. And he doesn't get it. And well, not the best start in the world in terms of finishing for both players. Maybe a few nerves in there, as James Wade has a chance at the double 2 and gets it. And that's the first leg of the match on the board. First blood goes to James Wade, who checks out on the double 2. As Humphries responds with a 140 to leave 361. As I said, I think for me, when you look at it, the favourite will always be James Wade because of the experience that he's got. Humphries has to come into this game and take that belief and aspiration from his last match against MVG and use it to his advantage. As he smacks in a 180 to leave himself at 181 after 6 starts. Good start from Humphries in this second leg. But James Wade will respond with a 180 of his own. He's down at 221. Touche, you could say, for James Wade there. So Humphries down to 56. Wade at 221. He's going to have 3 darts minimum here, Humphries, to get it 1-1 in this match. As I said, I think this is going to go all the way, in my opinion. As Wade gets 1-2-5 to lead 96. So 16 in tops. Gets the 16, 2 darts at tops for 1-1. Now at double 10, which he doesn't get. So, treble 20, double 18 for James Wade. Gets treble 19, which means he's going to have to get double 19 here, and he doesn't. And Humphries is going to have a chance at double 5 to make it 1-1 in this game for a holder throw as well, which he gets with 1 dart. And that is brilliant there from Humphries. Much better with his finishing in that occasion. And he makes it 1-1 in this match. And I would guess, for me, that this game will probably not see a very similar story to what we saw with Wade and Humphries having large gaps between them. I think this will be an even game where both players are back and forth with legs. We might see maybe one stage of the match where one of these players opens up a 2 or 3 leg advantage, but both players will be nervous. As I said, Wade has got plenty of experience. He's won this competition twice, but he's up against a player who's never been in a final of a televised event. He doesn't know what it's like. Maybe he works it to his advantage as he smacks in a 180 to get himself to 2-2-5, and you kind of feel like he's continuing on a little bit of that form from MVG, as you'd expect. You know, it was only about 15-20 minutes ago he was on the stage. Wade's going to have had a little bit more time to practice. If he has, of course. Some players not liking practice, especially on these big stages, as Humphries gets a 140 to leave himself at 85. James Wade all the way back at 2-3-5 here, so you would expect Humphries to have an opportunity to make it 2-1 in this match. Treble 15, double 20 needed for Luke Humphries. He's going to go down the 19 route, which means he needs treble 16, double 9. He gets an 8 instead, which means he won't be checking out. And a little blip in the system then, you think. He's going to have to go for tops instead unless Wade gets this 150. Gets both the treble 20s he needs. Double 15 for a 150. Oh, that's brilliant. That is classic James Wade. 150 checkout. 2 treble 20s and a double 15. Slap bang in the middle of the bed. Brilliant, brilliant for James Wade. A classy finish in the end. Apparently Jordan's just put Spurs 4, Palace 1, Kane 2 goals, Bale 2 goals, Benteke with a goal. Oh my god, Benteke scored. A goal for away team. Good with Spurs. Very good win indeed, but it could be a good win here if James Wade can maybe get a little bit of a foothold in this match, maybe even go 2 legs up. Well, they're saying that. Humphries here at 2-6-1 with a break of throw. Gets himself 140 to put himself down at 2-6-1 as James Wade gets a 123 even to be down to 3-1-8. Chris has just put Jeff Stelling's back. Oh, God. Amazing. You love it. Humphries at 130. Wade at 3-1-8. Reece saying Spurs the team of giving. Of course, he scored. Hey, at least you got a few goals. Buchanan saying Humphries doing well under the pressure. He is. He's done brilliant so far. Gets 58 to leave himself down at 72. Wade at 2-1-8 means he's going to have at least 3 darts here. It's going to be a critical leg this, you think? Going to have the first break in play very soon. As Wade gets 1-2-3 to leave 95. Treble 20, double 6 needed for Humphries. Goes 16. Then goes for another 16, which means he's going to have 1 dart at tops, which is just over the ring of the tops. Which means Wade will be coming back for 95. Goes for the bull and gets 17 instead, which means he's going to have to go treble 18, double 12. Gets the treble 18. And just misses the double 12. He hits the 12 instead, which means Humphries has a chance here to make it 2 apiece on tops. First dart misses, but it's a good marker. Second dart hits 20, which means he needs to hit the double 10 and doesn't. As Humphries, he's going to go 3-1 down, yeah. I was about to say, Wade's got a chance on double 6, and he gets it first time. 3-1 to James Wade, and as you've said, Taffy, in the chat, experience beginning to show here for James Wade in the match. He might have been the master of the finishing against MVG a few moments ago, Humphries, but the real master, the real king of the finishers, is on the stage now. But now this is detrimental. If James Wade goes into the break with a 4-1 lead, what's Luke Humphries going to be thinking? If he goes into the break at 3-2, it looks a lot more feasible to come back in the match. He's got to get himself a good leg on the board and not allow James Wade a 4-1 lead. And Wade here at 305, with Humphries back at 361. Looking like he's about to get a 180, and does in fine fashion. That's the third maximum for Humphries of the night. Wade with one maximum, so far in this match. The drink's getting to me now. I'm saying that, it really isn't. Haven't drunk as much tonight. Guess I've just been enjoying the darts. That's the important thing. It's been a great night and a great weekend of action. Really, really enjoyable games. Which, of course, we'll talk about a little bit more at the end of the matches tonight. So, Humphries down to 85. Wade all the way back at 245 here. You would assume Humphries should make it 3-2 before the break. Treble 15, double 20 needed here for 3-2. He's going to go down the 19s route. Gets 16. He's going to have one dart at the bull, which hits the outer bull. And you can see there a little bit of the frustration from Humphries as James Wade has a chance at 160, which he's not going to be able to take out after hitting 20 with his first dart. So, Humphries coming back here on 25. He's going to have two darts at double 8. Big moment. First dart hits double 8, one dart at double 4, and doesn't hit it, which means another chance for Wade at 60. He's going to have two darts at tops, and only needs one dart for a 4-1 lead over Luke Humphries. And as you said, Taffy, as you perfectly put it, the experience is beginning to show in this game. James Wade, looking calm, composed, comfortable on stage, finds himself in a 4-1 leg lead over Luke Humphries, who's looking now to just show a little bit of frustration. For me, one thing he didn't really show as much was frustration when he was playing MVG a few moments ago. And I guess when you've led pretty much for the majority of the match, you don't realistically show any frustration because you're leading in the game, aren't you, realistically? So there isn't any point of getting frustrated. But right now, he finds himself 3 legs down in this match. And the real worry for him here is if he doesn't get a leg on the board soon, with the way that James Wade has played in this tournament, he could continue to just steamroll on with his incredible finishing. And let's have a look at the stats, of course. We always do at the break. Wow. I mean, I've just seen one blatantly obvious stat, which is the one problem in this game. Let's start off, first of all, with the averages in this match. Now, you can't see it on the screen. It won't let me go down to see it, which is a bit annoying. And in fact, it's just booted me off in the end. But right now, it's an average of 96, I think, for James Wade. 96 for Luke Humphries and 93 for James Wade. I will get you that back up on the screen in a second. Apologies for that, just booted me off the page. There we go, you can actually see it now. So 96 average, 96.43 for Luke Humphries, and 93 for James Wade. In terms of the highest checkout, we've had a 150 so far for James Wade, which is a brilliant checkout, really good. But look at that for the stat. 7.69. 1 out of 13 on doubles. We came into this game praising Humphries for his brilliant finishes. Played really, really well in that game against MVG. Didn't seem to be missing much, but he's quite the opposite in this game so far. He's missing everything. Do you put that down to the fact he's played, a game a few minutes ago against MVG? You could, but in this match, in this specific situation, you have to go out there and try your very best. And right now, when you look at the finishing, even Wade on 40%, it's a very good score indeed. But right now, he's absolutely steamrolling on in this match. And 7.69%. If he continues with the way he's going with averages, it's a good average, isn't it? 96.43, but a very low checkout percentage. And this game could be done very, very quickly indeed. We were talking about Adrian Lewis's 11-1 a few years ago. Could be going the same way here if he stays shockingly bad on his doubles. But other stats, you can see 100 plus on James Wade, 1,300 pluses to 12 from Luke Humphries. There's only 340 pluses from James Wade and 7 for Humphries. But it doesn't matter, even with the 3 180s for Humphries, because he's 4-1 down in this game and he has got a hell of a lot of work to do as both players get themselves back onto the oche. Don't forget, if you are new, please don't forget to leave a like and subscription. We are pushing towards 2k subs. I can see there's 90 of you in here, so some of you guys haven't subscribed. If you have enjoyed it, We are going to be covering the Premier League of darts in April. Fingers crossed, touch wood, every single night. So if you've enjoyed it so far, please do leave us a sub and a like. We've got 38 likes tonight. There's a lot of you that haven't left a like yet, so please do. The support is always greatly appreciated. But we're back and away. 4-1 to James Wade. Luke Humphries has just got to make sure he's calm here. I mean, as Chris said, it's understandable Humphries' first final is going to be nervous, but he's got to channel those nerves, because if you go into this game and you come out with a ridiculously low checkout on doubles, it will be a little bit disappointing for him. And at the end of the day, for me, I think you've got to look at it and think it's brilliant to be in your first final. But the one thing I don't think Humphries will want to do is come out of this final and get battered. A great result against MVG will kind of feel like a loss in a way if you get battered by Wade. You know, if this finished 11-1 or 11-2, 11-3, he'll be a little bit disappointed. But at the same time, he'll have loved the run that he's been on. He would have never expected to have been here. But he needs to get a few legs on the board here. Probably out of the next 5 legs, I would say need to the next 3. Minimum. Because if this gets to 6 or 7, then you'd think to yourself, Wade's probably going to have this done fairly quickly. Although saying that, Humphries is going to smack in a 180. He's down to 163 with Wade at 344. That might be the booster of confidence that he needs. Mixed put, it was amazing with the Aussies scoring power that Wade lived with him earlier. Whitlock would have beaten anybody else on that form. You could have put your house on Wade in this final. Yeah, I mean, I was literally about to go and chuck 20 quid on Wade, and then I didn't. I was stupid mine. Wouldn't have got me much, but as I said, you know, Wade in this game right now, you can look at it, and Humphries needs to do something quick here. 98 checkout, treble 20, double 19. Gets 20. Gets 18, which means he's going to be coming back unless Wade checks out the 104. Needs treble 24, double 20. He gets the treble 20, so he's going to have 1 dart at tops here for another ton plus finish. And he hits the 20. But I completely agree with you, Mick, on that one. I think I'm very surprised Whitlock bottled that game. I don't know how he did it. I'm still sat there now thinking, how the hell did Whitlock not get a win in that match? But Humphries checks out tops. And that's a lay on the board. 4-2. Big moment there for him. He needed that. Got to get himself back into the game and get that mindset going that he can believe in himself to come back in this match. This is at 5:01. And he just drops his dart for a second there. A little bit of nerves, as you would expect. But he's going to make up for it with a 140. Taffy saying Humphrey's going to be class player, taking it serious with his diet, and that wedded tonight. Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at it and say, right, if he doesn't win and he comes out and he loses tonight, you have to say Humphries has looked brilliant in this tournament. And regardless of whether he loses, this will be a major confidence booster for him. To beat MVG, to beat likes of Kim Hybrex and other players like Chizzy, he's a great player. He's a brilliant player, Humphries. And, of course, he'll be moving up the rankings no matter what happens now. But fair play to him, because he's always been one of those players for me where you see him in the World Championship and stuff, and he's kind of an outsider. You like to back him, of course, and see where he goes. And he's had runs in the past. We've seen it at the World Championship. He's done very good in the past, but this is the best run he's had as a darts player. In a televised event, at the very least. As he's 168 here. Wade at 82. Means there's a chance here for Wade to make it 5-2. As Osti Van Ostiman's joined us. How are you doing, buddy? Long time no see, mate. Hope you're all well. Thank you very much, Osti. I'm not doing too bad, mate. How are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. As Wade checks out 82 for a 5-2 lead. Right in the middle of the bed on tops. And that once again gives James Wade that 3-leg lead that he needs. And, well, we've only got 2 more legs in this second section of the match. And if this gets to 6 or 7-2, as James Wade smacks in a 180 for his second maximum, and he's in the driving seat to maybe make it 6-2 here. Van Osterman saying, all good, thanks, mate. Good to hear, buddy. Good to hear. It's good to see a lot of the regulars in the stream. I know, of course, with the Masters, it's not one of those tournaments that people tend to care about as much, but it's really, really nice to see a few of the old regulars from the World Championship back again. Good to see you all. Hopefully, when the Premier League comes around, you'll still be here, and I'll still be here as well, doing some darts, because as I said, the Champions League is on that week, so we're trying to sort out what to do with that. Kurt has put, I did download a new photo, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo Man United jersey on YouTube, brother. Ooh, that's quite cool. That's quite cool. And then Buchanan has put, Humphries needs 2 more wins before the break. He does. And he's on for a 161 finish. But he hits the 10 and gets 121 to leave tops, which is a little bit of a happy disaster. Unless James Wade checks out 81 here. Gets treble 14. 1 dart at double 10. Sorry, double 13 it was in the end. But he doesn't get it. So Humphries with a chance here at tops on double 20 to make it 5-3. Which he does. Big, big moment in the match there. 2 more legs before the second interval in play. If he wins the next 2 on the bounce, he'll be going in at 5-5. But is James Wade going to let him into the match as he gets 96 to start, James, to get himself down to 4-5? Humphries has got to capitalise on that. Which he doesn't. And only gets 60. Not the greatest score there in the world by Luke. As we said before, James Wade will get himself the world number 4 rank if he wins this game. And I know Chris put earlier on as well, if Humphries wins this, he will be moving to, I think, was it 22nd in the rankings? Yeah, he's currently 33rd in the world, just outside the top 32. He'll move into 22nd in the world if he wins this game. So, a massive, massive boost to his world ranking if he was to get himself in the top 32. But he's got some work to do here because James Wade getting himself 134 to leave 131. Humphries back at 301. He's going to have to get at least a 140, if not more, which he doesn't, and gets 96. So James Wade now at 131 gets treble 20. Now he needs treble 17, which he does get with 1 dart at double 10 for 6-3. And it's just under the wire of the double 10, which means he will be coming back for 3 darts at 20 with Humphries back at 205. Chris has put, if it's 6-4, Humphries still in it. If 7-3, I expect Wade to run away with it, which Wade has just made it 6-3. So, big moment here. Big, big moment in the game. As you said, Chris, this is the critical leg in the match. If you find yourself in a situation where James Wade goes 7-3 up, you start to think to yourself that this game might be done as he smacks in a 180 for a chance at a 9-darter. But Humphries is going to be close behind and gets a 140. At 262. How about a 9-darter, James Wade? Gets another treble 20, but then doesn't afterwards. And he will get himself a 140, so he's down to a really good score of 181 after 6 darts. And he's looking so calm and confident tonight, James Wade. This has got to be surely one of the quickest semi-final and final nights ever, depending on what happens here. Because Humphries is down to 170. Wade gets himself 81 to leave 100. Which means he's going to have to check this 170 out, because Wade is the master of checking out the ton plus finishes, which Humphries won't. And it wouldn't surprise me here if Wade was to check out treble 20, double 20. Gets 20, so he's going to have no chances at the 100. And Humphries will be coming back at 112. Wade at 40. Gets treble 20. Going to be 1 dart here for Humphries at tops. And it's just wide. And yet again, the finishing here for Humphries has just not been up to the par of James Wade, who smacks in the double 20 on tops. And that is a 7-3 lead in the match for James Wade. And he'll be feeling to himself here. He's in a very, very comfortable position in the match. Only needs 4 more legs in the game to go and win the tournament. As for Humphries, he's going to be looking and thinking to himself, I've just not been good enough on the finishing in comparison to my semi-final match just about half an hour ago, when James Wade, as I said, 4 more legs away from winning the tournament. Is he going to be able to do it before the third interval, or will Humphries maybe be able to just fight back in this match and give a few nerves to James Wade? We'll have to find out, of course, when they come back after the interval in play. But let's talk about the stats of the match, because we're now 10 legs in, and you can see the standard for both players, realistically speaking, has improved average-wise. James Wade averaging 100.5 in the match, and Luke Humphries averaging 97. So both players certainly improved in the match so far, which is very, very good indeed. Looking really strong, James Wade, as I said. Another game where he's looking to average 100, which is just fantastic for how he's been in this tournament. As for the checkout stat, I mean, you can see it once again there. 15.79 is still not good enough in this game for Luke Humphries to go out there and get a victory. He's got to find something soon in this match, or else James Wade will be running away with this match. And even now, he is running away with it. You know, he's got the 4-leg advantage, and even at 41.18%, it's probably one of the lowest checkout percentages James Wade has had in the tournament so far, but 7 out of 17 on doubles. Every opportunity where Humphries hasn't capitalised, Wade's been able to just easily finish him off, and you could probably assume, and obviously not bad for Humphrey fans, I feel sorry to say this, but I do feel like this game is going to be done within the next kind of 10 minutes, and maybe we don't even have a third interval in play. But it's all down to Humphries. He needs to, as I said again, just like before, win 2 or 3 legs on the bounce without any response from Wade. Because you can see, in terms of the 100 plus category, in terms of darts thrown, 21 for Humphries, 27 for James Wade. 1,340 pluses for Humphries to James Wade's 7. And 180s wise, it's fairly even. 4 for Humphries, 3 for Wade. Just doesn't matter right now when you can't finish. And I know he's nervous, and I think anybody would be in that situation to be up on stage in a final, in your first final as well. But he's got to go out there and try and get better, because right now this could be done in the next kind of 5 or 10 minutes or so, which would be a real shame for him, because that performance he put in against MVG was brilliant. And I think he might feel like he's let himself down slightly coming into this game and not putting in a very good performance overall. I mean, Martin said Simon Most won it against Wade. And then he said easy for Wade right now, which I agree with you. Completely easy right now for him in the end. And then, as I said, I can't believe Simon Whitlock didn't win the game against Wade. He should have, realistically, and then bottled it in the end. But once again, I know I've been saying it throughout the entirety of the night, but if you're new to the stream, please, please, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you haven't already. We are currently sat on, as I refresh YouTube to find out, 1,934 subscribers. So if you haven't subbed yet and you've enjoyed the stream, please, please do. Let's try and get up to 1,950 tonight. So leave a sub and let's get to that target by the end of the night if you guys have enjoyed the stream. But we are going to get back underway in a moment with the game. Samueli's asked for the averages. Right now, James Wade's averaging 102 and Luke Humphries is averaging 98. So not too bad there for James Wade. But we're back underway with the game. Both players back out onto the hockey. Is this final going to be done in 5 minutes? That's the question. Because James Wade needs 4 more legs on the board. And he'll be going out of the competition. Well, he'll be leaving MK Dons as a champion, won't he? For the 3rd time. He won it in 2008. He won it in 2011. He'll have had to have waited 10 years to get another UK Open to his name. But I don't think Wade will care about that if he wins it. But Humphries is going to have to win, in my opinion, the next 3 minimum on the bounce without Wade getting anything on the board. That's how crucial it is right now for Humphries in this game. The gap has been growing and growing and growing as the match has gone further on. As Wade smacks in a 180. And that's his 4 for the match. To get himself down to 181. With Humphries all the way back at 401. It's looking here like Wade is about to get his 8th leg of the match on the board. Brilliant, honestly, from Wade tonight. The experience has been on show throughout the entire tournament. And I think you can put your hands up and say if he does win this, he deserves it. Because he's been the best player in the tournament. We got the final that, in terms of form, was deserved. Because both these two players have been the best in the tournament by a country mile. But it looks like we're going to get the deserved winner as well, as Humphries has a chance here for double 10 for 54 checkout. And he doesn't get it, which means Humphries will be coming back here for a 1-2-1. Gets the treble 20. Gets treble 11. One dart at double 14. And he hits the 14 instead. Which means James Wade at double 10 has 3 darts at it. And his second dart's hit. First dart was just on the outer ring at a very good marker. And Wade finds himself 8-3 up. And now 3 legs away from becoming the Ladbrokes UK Open champion. And all Luke Humphries can do is just try and claw a few legs back on the board. Because this has been a stellar display from James Wade. One of the most underappreciated players. Doesn't get enough credit for the consistent quality that he brings to darts. And I think he's about to get that deserved world number 4 spot. You know, Rob Cross is a good player, but he fucking doesn't deserve that world number 4 spot, does he? And I think James Wade is about to take it. While Luke Humphries will just be outside the top 32. He'll be 33rd in the world. I mean, Chris has put Wade is the best player not to be world champion. Which is baffling, isn't it? You think to yourself, how has he not won a championship in all of his career? And I think that it's just mad, isn't it? Because he's been so good for so long, as Humphries checks out 50 for 8-4. He's been good for so long, you would have expected him to have won a championship at some point. A world championship, at least. But he hasn't. And it's just so mad. The fact that Wade has played so consistently for years and years and years. He could, you know, he's got a long way to go in his career. Which is mad. Because he's been in the game for so long. He's said it in the past, he's seen some very good darts players come and go. And he's the one still standing. As he's at 401 and looking to get a 180. Which he doesn't, but a 140 will do. And he's down to 261 after 6 darts with Humphries back at 401. He's going to have to try and match with a 140 of his own. Which he doesn't. And he only gets 81 to leave 320. So, advantage Wade again. Both players averaging over 100. Humphries probably won't feel like he's averaging over 100 in this game. But he's averaging 101 to James Wade's 102.74. Humphries gets 100 to leave 220. Wade at 161, treble 20, treble 17, bull. Gets the treble 20. Gets to 17, which means there'll be no checkout. And he will be coming back at a checkout of 24 with Humphries back at 220. And you'd assume here he's going to be going 9-4 up in a second. Chris saying Rob Cross will be spending a lot of money in ranking points this year. So if he doesn't do well, he will drop down rankings. As Wade smacks in the double 12 to go 9-4 up, and he's 2 legs away from the UK Open. And there's not an ounce of emotion on his face, which is what you'd expect from a player of his quality. Doesn't show it until the end of the match, usually. As Martin Lukeman's put, come on, Lukey boy. He needs to get a few legs on the board here. There's 2 more legs left in this match. If he gets another leg on the board, then Wade's going to have to wait a little bit longer because we're going into a 3rd interval. Unless Wade gets it now and makes it 10-4, then it's going to be even more of a struggle for Luke to get back into this match. As Wade gets 138 to leave himself down at 263 after 6 darts. Humphries back at 342. Going to get 2 20s and a treble 19 to get 97. Keeping nice and close in this 14th leg of the match. And he's just needs that leg on the board, you feel now. Make it 9-5 and it'll be a little bit more, not interesting, but there'll still be a little bit of hope in Humphries' mind as he cracks in a 140 to leave 105. James Wade at 169, not going to be able to check out, so Humphrey will have at least 3 darts to go at that 105. Wade will put him under a little bit of pressure at 70. So treble 20, 13, double 16 needed. He's going to go the 19 route. Gets treble 18, 1 dart at double 16, and he gets it. And that is the Humphries we've been waiting for. Gets a ton plus finish on the board with a 105. Checks out on the double 16 right in the middle of the bed. And that will give him a little bit more confidence to try and get a leg back on the board before the break. 9-5 now in this game. GTV, yeah, it will be ahead of me, the score. The only reason why is I'm watching on ITV Hub, which is about 5 fucking light years behind the scoreboard, so it will be a little bit ahead of me. So I do apologise about that. But ITV Hub's terrible. It's so far behind. I wouldn't recommend using it for watching the Euros if you want to be ahead of everyone, because it's terrible. It's terrible if you're a football fan, and not necessarily as good for a darts fan. So I can't actually see the scoreboard right now because I've turned it off, so I can't see it, but you can, just to make sure that it doesn't spoil anything for me. But Wade here at 198. Humphries at 306. Gets a 134. Humphries to leave himself at 172. Wade going to get himself into checkout territory first, which means he's going to have 3 darts here at the 98 that he's left after getting 100. And you would think to yourself here, Humphries might have a chance to make it 9-6. He's got himself down to tops, I think. But Wade at 98, treble 20, got 2 darts at double 19, which he hits 19, so Humphries has got a chance here. 3 darts at tops for 9-6 to make it interesting going into the break. Got 1 dart at double 5, and he doesn't get it. And is that going to be the moment in the game where Humphries thinks to himself it's game over, as James Wade has 3 darts at double 8 and only needs 1 dart to make it 10-5. And we go into what could possibly be the most pointless interval. There's going to be 1 more break. And James Wade knows now he's got 1 more leg. Sorry, 2 more. Not 1 more. He's got 2 more. It's first to 11, isn't it? He's got 2 more legs to go to try and get himself a 3rd UK Open on the board. As I said, he won 1 in 2008. He won 1 in 2011. And it looks like he's about to go and get another one on the board in 2021. But let's talk about the stats of the match, because of course we've had another 5 legs being played, which means the stats will have changed slightly. And when you look, just starting to see for the first time here, I think that the belief of Luke Humphries slowly diminishing as the game continues on. Just now averaging under 100 in 99.98 as John goes, "Goal Bologna!" I don't know what's going on. 102.68 average for James Wade. Been brilliant, classy, well in control of this match. Brilliant performance from him so far. And as I said, 2 more legs on the board and he will be winning the UK Open for the 3rd time in his career. When you look at the stats, still only 20% on checkouts for Luke Humphries. 43.48% even, on checkouts for James Wade. That's 10 out of 23 on doubles to Luke Humphries, 5 out of 25. And you've got to look at it now, and I think, is there a little bit of a resignation of defeat from Humphries, specifically with the last darts there, with the opportunity to check out and make it 9-6? You could see on his face, it looked like he was kind of a little bit resigned to defeat. But Jordan's put goal to Estudiantes, goal Napoli. I don't even know what's going on. We're here for the darts tonight. We'll talk about football tomorrow, of course, which I'll talk about in a second. But 100 plus thrown in the game. 36 for Luke Humphries and 40 for James Wade. In terms of 140 pluses, we've got 19 for Luke Humphries and 15 for James Wade. In terms of the 180s as well, there's 4 apiece in the match. But as we said before, looking like pretty much here, 1 more leg in the match, and it will be a case of James Wade winning the tournament. Looks like it's going to be done fairly quickly here. As I said, don't forget, tomorrow, before the game continues on, I will be streaming live on the channel once again. You can join us at 7:35 p.m. Inter Milan taking on Atalanta. I'm going to be covering that game live on the channel with a live Serie A watch-along, so don't miss out on that if you're into your football. Jordan's put, Gol Deportivo La Fera. Where are you finding this stuff out, Jordan? Tell me. Where are you finding these scores from? Chris has put, James Wade been in darts for 2 decades now. He's only 37 years old, always been a top 10 player. Crazy, innit? Absolutely crazy. One of the most consistent players that there's probably been in darts for the last decade plus. Just an incredible player. So here we go. This is it now. The last leg is on the board. I'm going to say for now, Jordan, just leave the goal updates in the chat because we're not doing football tonight. It is the darts because we've got one more potential leg on the board here. Is James Wade about to become the Ladbrokes UK Open champion? He's minimum one leg away from it. As Humphries starts with a 60. But James Wade only gets 57 to get 444. So a little bit of a let-off there for Humphries if he's got any hope of coming back into this match. Humphries does very well there. Gets 100. He's down to 341. What can Wade do to respond? Probably a 140 would do. In fact, he's got a 140. I was about to say he goes one better and gets a 180, but he doesn't. A 140 will put him down to 304. And well, that kind of sums up Luke Humphries. I think this is a resignation of defeat here. Pretty much gets himself, I think he was 8 then. And James Wade now going to look to make the most of the mistake from Humphries. And gets 100 to get 204. And Humphries will get himself 100 to get himself down to 213. Wadey here looking like he's about to win this game 11-5. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed the stream tonight, please don't forget to leave a subscription. We're nearly at 1,940 subscribers as there's a 180 there for Wade, and surely now this is the moment in the match where Wade will win it. Only 59 from Humphries, which means 3 darts at double 12 for James Wade to win the tournament. Now at double 6 with 2 darts. 1 dart at double 3 for the Ladbrokes UK Open, and he does it. James Wade is a 3-time UK Open champion. Experience overcomes youth at the UK Open. You have to give credit to Luke Humphries in this tournament. The 26-year-old played his heart out, beating Van Gerwen earlier on 11-5, beating the likes of Kim Hybrex as well and Clearmacher. But in the end, the experience of James Wade comes out on top. And the 37-year-old, who has always been one of the most consistent players on the hockey, gets himself another TV title to his name. And that is his 3rd UK Open. He won in 2008, he won in 2011, and 10 years later, James Wade, whose standard hasn't dropped over the last decade, gets his 3rd Ladbrokes UK Open on the board. And that was a really, really brilliant match for James Wade, who wins it 11 legs to 5. And as I said, experience overcomes youth. Brilliant game indeed, and well deserved in the end. You know, you have to say that James Wade, with the way he played in the tournament, played the very, very best out of any of the players on the pitch. So as I said, please do leave a subscription if you've enjoyed it tonight. We'll be covering the Premier League of Darts in April. So you haven't got long to wait for that at all. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it tonight. Let's have a look at the stats of the match, though. James Wade taking on Luke Humphries. 102.52 average in the end for James Wade. 97.95 average for Luke Humphries. You can see checkouts-wise, only 20% for Humphries. That's 5 out of 25 on doubles. With James Wade 11 out of 27 on his doubles. As Humphries goes to collect his 2nd place prize. And then you can see there, of course, some of the other stats going on as well. Brilliant performance in the end by James Wade. But Luke Humphries, he picks up the 2nd place prize. You know, at the end of the day, as I said, you have to give him credit. The 26-year-old, he probably came into this tournament probably not expecting to even make the semis or the quarters. But he did in pretty fine fashion. Really impressive from the young 26-year-old who will move up in the rankings to 33rd in the world. Absolutely brilliant. But the more important one is James Wade. He's now 4th in the world, and it's great to see him happy. He picks up the prize. Honestly, buzzing to see him happy. He deserves it with the performances that he's put in this tournament. And James Wade is the Ladbrokes UK Open champion, and he absolutely deserves it. Brilliant performance indeed. And what a tournament it turned out to be. You know, we started off with 128 players in the tournament on Friday. It was all whittled down to the final 4 with Wade, Price, Humphries and Van Gerwen. And then, as you can expect, James Wade, who's been so consistent for a long time, comes out on top. Just want to say, honestly, a big, massive thank you tonight for all of you that have been in the stream. There's been so many of you tonight who've come. And as I said, you've subscribed and left likes. So thank you so much to all of you because, you know, we've been streaming over the weekend. I've been doing darts over the last few months, and you guys have brought so much support. So thank you to every single one of you that has been here over the last few months. It's been incredible indeed. Don't forget, as I said, we've got more content coming up over the next few days on the channel. I will actually be back live again tomorrow from 7:35 with Serie A football action. Inter Milan taking on Atalanta. What a clash that's going to be. I'll be live from 25 to 8 with that match. Going to be a brilliant game in Italy. And then, of course, as you can see, we've got a UCL FIFA Sim tournament taking place. If you are a big FIFA fan and you want to take part in our UCL FIFA Sim tournament, then do put your name down in the comments below. We need 32 players. You don't even need an Xbox or a PlayStation. The AI will take control of your team, and the winner of that tournament will get themselves a small cash prize / gift card. So if you want to play, put your name in the chat, and I will put your name down on the list. As always, if you haven't checked out our social media links, our Twitter and our Instagram is at @the_top corner. And our Instagram is _sportscorner_. Check those two pages out if you haven't already. I always tweet out and post on our Twitter and Instagram when we are live on YouTube, as well as when we post up articles on our website, which is thesports-corner.com. Do check the link in the description, because we post new articles every single day on our website from a whole range of sports, including football and, of course, darts. I'll be putting a Ladbrokes UK Open review at some point in the near future. But as for now, once again, big, massive thank you to you all. The next darts tournament I'll be covering on the channel will be the Premier League of Darts, I think, which is at the beginning of April. It's only a few more weeks to go. Not long to wait for that. But as for now, have a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Good night.